Hi everyone, welcome back. Apologies, we seem to have missed the approaches to Hoop 1. They have started very quickly on their second game. So I'm going to hand you back over to Tim for some commentary, and then we'll be swapping in some new commentators for you in a short while.
Okay, so I'm back live with everybody apparently. Welcome. At the moment, this is Tim King, Tournament Director, and I'm sitting on my own. I'm sitting on my own, but standing beside me is Chris Roberts, who's currently part of the refereeing team and sort of generally looking after this court, I guess, Chris. So how have you found the refereeing so far this tournament?
Well, I suppose I've got to compliment the players first and foremost, Tim. Frequently when one's assigned to referee's duties, you tend to paying attention, and you end up in situations where you think you're going to be called because there's a stroke that should be refereed, and all too frequently the players decide not to call a referee, and faults can occur. It's not been the case at all in this tournament.
Excellent.
The players, I don't know whether they had a briefing beforehand, but they've called the referees far more than I've been used to, and 4 marks to them for doing so.
Yeah, as you say, it gets a bit messy if you try and fix something after it's happened, I guess.
Well, of course you can't fix anything if you haven't seen the stroke, and even if you have seen it from yards away, you're not in a position to really judge. So preemptive positioning of the referee and calling for the referee is everything.
Sure.
And if anybody takes anything at home from looking at these players, these are a fine example of the way it should be done.
So I've just received a message, Chris, but I've got bad news for you. They seem to think you might be Ian Cobbold, so I don't know which one of you is most complimented by that suggestion, but you're a mere referee, whereas of course yes. Ian is our tournament referee.
He is the head honcho here, and not for the first time as the tournament referee of the tournament at a World Championships. Good fellow though, as he is, and chairman of the GC Rules Committee in
Absolutely.
England.
So Lou took advantage of Jamie's slight misfortune at Hoop 1, and Lou has got 1-0 up. This looks as though we're going to have another jump shot from Jamie, and that's a beautiful shot.
Jump shot.
So we've begun to recognise Jamie's jump shot action. She brings her feet forward a little bit, but with that lovely languid Solomon grip, she gets all the power she needs, and the first time didn't quite leave the ground as she wanted to, but this time absolutely perfect and beautiful shot there. Quite sort of a little bit of a coincidence there, Chris, seeing as both you and I are Solomon grip as well. We sort of recognise that approach to playing jump shots.
Indeed, I think if my stroke was as well timed as that, I'd be very pleased.
Yes,
I think both you and I have probably recognised as people who hit the ball harder than most, but that was effortless from Jamie, and a beautiful stroke. In fact, most of her strokes I've been watching in the first game just seemed to be calmness personified.
Yeah.
And was really quite in control of that first game, I thought.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Setting a tough challenge for Lou, but she's put in much the better of the first two approaches to Hoop 3, and she'll be looking now with her black. So her black, although it was jumped, it wasn't in the jaws, so she has got the shot across, and as we know, position. So
that looks a bit short to me.
Kind of shortish.
I'm not sure that black scores.
interestingly enough, we're again in perfect position on this occasion to see that it did block yellow at blue, but I don't think it was ever going to do that. And Lou is kind of confirming that, I think, because she's clearing yellow back now. So I don't think blue was anything other than ever going to be able to jaws at best. So the other minor coincidence, of course, is that it wasn't. Was it in the 2019 World Championship, or was it an Open Championship that we played on this court? I seem to remember you beating me, but that's probably bad psychology on my part. I'm sure I should never remember any of my losses.
Yes, right.
But yes, I mean, obviously you and I are not hitting balls at the moment, so I guess I would suggest that perhaps they're a bit damper than some of the times that you and I will have played on here, and probably they're a little bit slower.
That's right. I think I noticed in the first game, particularly when the players were coming down the middle, the first two strokes were very short.
Yeah.
Lou then played one which was overhit.
Yeah.
But Jamie had learnt by the first stroke and judged the second ball down to hoop 6 to perfection.
Excellent.
And then a few clearances later, and Lou did exactly the same thing. There was this, I think Jamie eventually ran the hoop through a gap, but all four balls were really well positioned. Because it's not easy conditions. We just had a little bit of rain, probably didn't make that much effect. But the big one that's probably not being picked up by the pictures is the gusting wind.
Yeah.
You're getting the occasional flutter of the flags, but they're in a sheltered area, I should say.
Yeah.
And it's the gusting wind, particularly for those that are casting.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I always have a slight query at the back of my mind as to whether with wind as well it can affect one's perception of the pace of the court, and perhaps even just that psychological trick that maybe if you're hitting into the wind you kind of feel you want to hit it harder or softer or whatever, and I don't know.
I think you're right. It plays with your head better as well as blowing you all over the place.
Yeah, definitely that sort of lack of balance is not going to help, and it's a little bit variable. As you say, perhaps at the moment it's just a little bit quieter on the court, but we can see some of the trees sort of a little bit further away that are a bit more gusty. So I think, as you say, it's the gustiness that they'll be struggling with.
And the unpredictability of it, that's the thing.
But Lou here with a relatively short shot to take a 2-1 lead in this game, and she's through. She's got the advantage of having had the blue clear the red. It's not actually over the halfway line, but it was in the right direction towards 3, so neither blue nor black are close to hoop 4, but they are closer, and maybe that gives her a few more options to deal with the yellow that's come back in, or sorry, the yellow that's the first approach there from Jamie, which again is not an ideal yellow, but the bit that she's got right there, Chris, is that she is to the short boundary side of the hoop, and I don't know how much you've ever worked on that with your.
Yeah, very much. We always try to be on the short boundary side, and invite your opponent to make a more accurate stroke in terms of the line of the hoop, and then they should be fairly easy prey to your own clearance. So yellow, as we can see, is all over blue.
Yeah.
Unless this black hits. And black's cleared her own ball. So she won't need saying she didn't need to do that.
Well, absolutely. And Jamie, from the angle that she's approached this yellow, this is also not quite as wide as I thought it might have been, and so Jamie looks confident here to score this hoop, which would level us back at 2-2. Lovely again. She's really hitting some rhythm now, isn't she, with her hoop strokes?
Yeah, I was probably a bit flippant and harsh on Louise there. She had to go for something.
Yes.
I mean, yellow was going to score, as we could just see. She had to aim at something. She clipped her own ball.
Yeah.
You don't get anything for not trying. You just lose the hoop.
Yeah.
So.
No, absolutely, and of course, you know, this is where the sort of slightly perhaps sometimes tongue-in-cheek discussion about the amount of luck in GC comes in. You know, we are playing the percentages, aren't we, with almost every shot we play, and you know, when it's a good day, you know, you get more heads than tails.
That's it. But here we got the good one. It's a clearance with a reasonable distance. Well, that was about 5.5, 6 yards, but nevertheless a centre ball clearance, and that's what this game is all about at this level. It's a centre ball clearance. It's not hitting it; it's hitting it and hanging around, which you only achieve by the centre ball clearance. Yeah. And the player that hits the centre ball clearance can play these duels around the hoop all day long, and they will win every one of them.
Absolutely.
Centre ball clearances and patience is what it's all about.
Yeah. It certainly is. And of course this now poses the dilemma to Lou. She's, you know, again, as you say, you know, actually Jamie didn't clear Lou all the way to the boundary, but she is a good 10 plus yards away from hoops 5, and she's got to decide with yellow being the danger ball.
She's waving that blue in, and she knows she underhit that.
That's right. And we're now beginning to see, at the beginning of the first game, I was discussing with Lindsay Hobbs, who was the co-commentator then, a little bit about these situations and wondering what sort of styles we were going to see. And I think, you know, Jamie started off, she was steady, but she's now beginning to show herself to be very comfortable and confident in putting in the first ball and then clearing with the second ball, and that's what she's done there. And again, not quite a 14-yard clearance here for Lou, but you know, this is one that's beginning to make Lou wonder whether she's lost what was to start with her lead on this second game.
Again, gone for the placement, and that's a tough call. Placing the ball across the line like that.
Yeah.
It's a low percentage success shot, and actually she's short anyway.
Yeah.
So here's Jamie with a free shot.
Absolutely.
By which, I mean, there's no consequence in terms of losing the hoop if she misses this.
And that's probably now about the 5th or 6th hoop in a row that we've seen her absolutely go through the centre with very little wire, and that time she almost got the reward of the second hoop point by running 6 at the same time.
Which one assumes that there's a small amount of wire there as she comes through, because there must be.
Yes.
Well, assuming the centre peg's in the right place, as the referee, I'd like to think it was. All the courts were checked in that regard at the beginning, before the beginning of play. So it is possible to score hoops 5 and 6. Usually either with a bit of help from the lay of the land, or that you've taken a bit of spin. Yeah, there can be quite a strong spin effect, can't there, sometimes. So we've now got a little race on here. We've got our director Alison coming over with some new co-commentators. But what we'll see is whether we're going to get this shot in from Lou before that happens. Now she's got an interesting choice here, because although strictly speaking that's not a full in-off yellow, you've got a little bit of latitude, haven't you, to make contact with the yellow and for that to guide it back into the hoop. Just a little. Yeah. The other thing is you've got probably a bit of a triple target there, haven't you, which is always good for the confidence. You've got the red, the yellow, and of course the hoop. So in reverse order. Yeah. That's your priority. Absolutely. So she's sized up the position, she's stalking well, and we will see. This looks like one of her stronger shots.
nice and smooth that time.
Just having a look at
looking
it. She's
interested, and
hard
she
luck.
did make the contact with the yellow, and she almost got that little nudge into the hoop. Just not quite. But yeah, I suppose to some extent she's been unlucky, hasn't she? Because she's now probably opened up the blue for an easier shot with yellow. The interesting question
Blue's going
is
for a block, which is presumably blocking on red and the hoop. That was an easy one down the line. Our director's coming over with our 2 new commentators.
Yeah.
I'm going to make way.
well, Chris,
and,
thank you for taking time out. Well,
Say good afternoon, everybody.
I guess you would have sprinted off if you'd been called on as a referee,
I would have
but
done. Indeed,
but it didn't happen, and thank you for your
Okay.
time.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That was all from me, Tim King, and I'm now going to hand over to Aston Wade and Izzy Bruce, I believe. There we go. Thank you, everybody.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, Tim. So I'm here with Izzy. Izzy is my doubles partner's partner. So her boyfriend Kieran and I recently won the Students' Association Croquet Doubles Championships in Oxford. Izzy has been along to quite a few croquet events to watch. We haven't convinced her to play yet, but she does tell me that she enjoys watching, so she's kindly agreed to do some commentary with me. So thank you, Izzy, and welcome.
Thank you.
So we're just catching up with this game here between Jamie from Australia and Louise, who I know quite well. She plays down at Budley Salterton, which is near where I am in Exeter at university. So it seems to be 3-2 to Jamie at the moment. Alison's kindly off to get us some tea. So Jamie having a go here at hoop 6. And that's a good outcome. It bounced back and a bit of topspin carried it back forwards into the jaws of the hoop. Louise does have 2 balls that she can potentially dig that out with. First attempt is going to be with blue, which is currently about 12 yards away over on the north boundary, so difficult shot this, but good opportunity. Okay, so Jamie's got a nice opportunity here to flick off black, getting onside at hoop 7. And if she hits this fairly straight, black will have quite a difficult clearance again to try and dig yellow out the jaws of 6. So she can cut this on the right hand side and send black into corner 2, making it really difficult to get out of hoop 6, or she can play it on the left hand side, which is what she appears to be doing, and that'll get red nicely in front of 7. Louise there just choosing to play back on side. She had the option to shoot at yellow in the hoop, but it's a difficult shot, and if she were to miss, black would be going a long way away from hoop 7. So this is conceding 6 to go 4-2 down, but maximising her chances over at 7. Now, I currently have a laptop with a connection to the comments on the live stream, so do feel free to ask us some questions. Izzy, as I say, hasn't had much experience of croquet, so she's going to be asking some of the questions that some of you who, again, maybe haven't watched so much before, might be wanting to know the answers to. She's aware that there are no silly questions, so anything you fancy asking, do go ahead with that.
But speaking of questions, I'm quite curious as to what the referee's now doing before Jamie.
Yes, so you call a referee on when you have a shot where you can potentially play a fault. So in this instance, Jamie's just called a referee on probably to adjudicate for a crush here. So if you play the shot where the mallet, the ball and the hoop are all in contact together at the same time, that's called a crush. So that would be a fault, and if the referee were to identify that, the ball would either go back to where it was or stay where she's played it. So if you have one of these slightly difficult shots, you get a referee on to keep an eye on it. We might see some more later on in the day of potential other things that can go wrong with hampered shots.
It appears that she cleared it anyway.
Yeah, so just playing gently through there, takes a 4-2 lead. So I think that blue is just about wide from red. If it is, that's a really nice shot. Jamie there just taking tight position, looking to clear blue later with yellow. Staying a little bit quiet since the players are nearby, but Louise here just looking at the blocking line of yellow on blue. Got a good angle to see this. It's about 2.5 balls short there, so yellow's got a shot through on blue. Just watch out for this, Izzy, depending on how hard she hits it.
Okay, moving slightly away.
That's a really nice shot there. So she's hit it on the side, which sends yellow to the boundary with a hoop shot. She hasn't got blue quite as far as she would have liked, so Louise here looking to clear red. Nearly got a little bit unlucky, but red's just missed the hoop there, so that's a good shot. Jamie will be looking to clear black on the left hand side here so that red stays fairly straight on the hoop and pushes black out wide. Yep, that's a really good shot. I was saying earlier that Jamie has a really nice tempo on her swing. It's just a nice smooth action, and it's clear with some of her hoop running, which just glides through. Really nice timing on the swing. So for Izzy's benefit, I'm going to be referring to some of the boundaries on the game. So this boundary that Louise is currently standing on is called the north boundary.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what the actual orientation of the lawn is. This boundary near hoop 2 and 3 is always referred to as the north boundary. You then go round, so the boundary close to hoop 3 and 4 is the east boundary. The boundary close to hoop 1 and 4 is the south boundary. And the boundary over here close to hoops 1 and 2 is...
Sorry, I was trying to figure out which one you were going
the
on
west
about.
boundary, there we go.
Thank you. I mean, reorientated, so I'm trying to figure out which one's the one again.
Okay, so one is down there with the blue top.
Thank you.
And they're currently playing hoop. Hoop 7. So that's a nice black from Louise there. Nice and close to the hoop. Jamie will have the opportunity to clear that in lawn later, so a couple of options here. Louise has chosen to put another ball in. You can look at clearing yellow out the way just to remove the danger ball, so that if red does nail this clearance on black, yellow's not in front. Again, a nice smooth shot. So as with a lot of sports, the harder you try to hit a ball, you often lose a bit of accuracy. So if you hit at a nice kind of smooth pace, you're more likely to hit the ball where you want it. Here she hadn't moved it quite as far as she could have done, could have sent it all the way down to the south boundary, but it's more important to hit the ball in the middle. That's a nice shot. So, had black gone a little bit further from the clearance on red, that might have missed the yellow, but Louise has played a good shot there. That's a really good shot. So not only has that gone through the hoop, but it's gone through at a really nice pace to land in front of hoop 8. So when you go through a hoop, the primary aim is to score the point, but on the odd numbered hoops, if you can run down to close to the next hoop, as she has done there, that gives you an immediate advantage at the following hoop. And it's harder to do from further back to control the pace of your hoop run. But Jamie's just run a 6-yard hoop with almost perfect pace. So a couple of comments coming through on the chat. Good to have Addison Matthews watching from Australia. We met at the Under-21 Worlds in New Zealand earlier in the year. I'm sure you're probably supporting Jamie here. But yes, very good player. A lot of power from Addison's play style. And we've also got a question about the colour of shoes on the croquet lawns. So generally you can wear whatever colour shoes you'd like at a croquet tournament, depending on the club that's hosting. Some may prefer you to wear white coloured shoes. I think for the AC Worlds it was requested that players try to wear white shoes, but generally it isn't paid too much attention to. I've got another question about grips. So I think I've probably talked Izzy through grips at some point in time. You've got a lot of options on grips. So the grip that I use is a standard grip. So the hand that goes at the top of the mallet can be your left or right hand, depending on whether you're right or left-handed. I'm right-handed, so my left hand goes at the top of the mallet, and that's in kind of a Solomon position where the hands wrap round with the knuckles facing forward. And then my right hand goes below that with more of a kind of golf-style grip. That's the standard grip. Irish grip is where both your hands are kind of fingers pointing downwards as you would do with a golf club. And the Solomon grip is both kind of fingers wrapped around mallet, knuckles facing forward. The correct grip for a beginner to use is whatever feels most comfortable. And that's not necessarily the most helpful suggestion, but if you pick up a mallet, the grip that you pick it up with is probably going to be the best grip to start out with. I actually started out with the Irish grip, but it is quite difficult to generate power with an Irish grip. It puts a bit more strain on the wrists. So if you have kind of bad wrists or you're straining them a little bit too much, then it can help to switch to a standard or a Solomon grip. But yeah, generally whatever feels comfortable, as someone said in the comments as well, is what you want to go with.
Does that mean that sometimes players can switch grips throughout the games to potentially help with certain techniques?
So that is a good question. So some players do change grips during the game. So Matthew Essick, who was runner-up in the recent AC World Championship, he will play his shots Solomon if it's a long kind of clearance shot or a hit-in, and if it's a shorter shot where he wants a bit more control on the pace, he'll play it Irish, or possibly standard. But he does switch his grip depending on the distance of the shot and how hard he wants to hit it. For jump shots as well, some players will switch their grips. So Stephen Mulliner, notable English player, generally I think plays Irish grip, but will play his jump shots Solomon, and it just allows you to get a little bit more power on the ball. If you're playing Irish grip, as I said earlier, it puts some pressure on the wrists, and when you need to hit hard to get the ball in the air, it can become quite difficult. So Solomon is probably the ideal grip for jumping, but I find I can get plenty of power with a standard grip. Question about birds, which Izzy was interested in earlier. Do we see any magpies on the lawn? It is mostly seagulls, unfortunately. Down here, obviously very close to the coastline. I'm not sure if I've seen magpies around. Have you seen anything interesting, Izzy?
Not in Brighton. In Oxford you get a lot of magpies landing on the lawns, it appears.
Yes, yeah, so we were in Oxford a couple of weeks ago. Lawns weren't quite as nice as these. We had some dogs on the lawn as well, which made things interesting. But back to the game at hand. Jamie's just run another nice hoop to take a lead of, is this 6-2 now? Yeah, I think it's 6-2. That's a really good response from Louise. That's probably 2 foot straight position in front of 9. Pressure's certainly on if she wants to turn this around from 6-2 down, game down as well. But she's playing Jamie, who is at the top of her block, so not expected to be winning this. I think if she can get a couple more hoops under her belt, that'll give her a little bit more confidence going into the next round.
And this is hoop 9.
Yes, so Jamie here lining up a clearance on black. It's not easy to tell, but do you think it is straight in front of 9? We've established that Izzy's vision is slightly better than mine.
It does appear to be slightly more towards right of the hoop.
Okay, so perhaps not perfectly straight, but still needs clearing. So Jamie decided to put yellow in position earlier rather than having 2 shots at black. Personally, I think that's a good choice. In general, is to put a ball in hoop position and then back yourself to clear it with the second ball once you have a ball in front. At 9 it becomes a little bit different, because if you can run 9 down in front of 10, that suddenly gives you the point at 9, the advantage at 10, and a short turn to 11. If you nail your clearance, you suddenly pick up 3 hoops in a row. And Louise has run that really cleanly down to hoop 10, so well in control of 10. And that's where I think the ball needs 2 attempts at the clearance back at 9. So if it's threatening to run to a controlling position at 10, personally I like to have 2 shots at it to get it out the way. If it's runnable but not trivial, then you can put a ball in and have a second go, or a first go with the second ball at clearing it. So the yellow there, a little bit short. Ideally you want to get that between the hoop and the black ball. If Louise puts a good blue in now, black can turn around and clear yellow all the way back down to the south boundary. She's given black a bit of a nudge, so both blue and black are in hoop running position. Jamie here just choosing to put another ball in, adds a bit of pressure. That's just dribbled past, so a few options for Louise. She can turn around and clear yellow, or she can go straight for the hoop. Straight for the hoop is a good choice here. You've got the closest ball to the hoop, you've got the first shot at it, so just backing yourself to go through. Hasn't come off that time, but it's important to recognise that that doesn't mean it's the wrong option. It's a nice stop shot clearance from Jamie there, staying in good position in front of the hoop. It's hard to tell if she's got blue wide from yellow as well. That would be a great outcome of the shot, but blue might be able to have a go at moving yellow here. So I don't think she'll have been attempting to go through the back of the hoop there. She might have been going for just tight position, but it's quite possible that it's taken a little bit of hill and just gone into the back of the hoop. So these boundaries that are close to the hoops are known as short boundary sides. So Jamie's cleared Louise there. She could have hit it as hard as she liked, but Louise is going to finish with her black ball on the boundary about 7 or 8 yards away from the ball she's trying to clear. So she would be hoping to hit this most of the time, and that's a good shot. So other options that Jamie had earlier, she could have tried a snuggle or a block on black rather than just moving it to a short boundary. Sometimes you have to make your opponent play these 7-yarders and they will miss them occasionally, but if they're shooting particularly well, then going for blocks rather than just moving them 7 yards could become a better option. Hello to Ewan, who is on the chat. Say hi, Izzy.
Hi, Ian.
So Addison is asking if... Oh, sorry, just a comment on that shot there. So it looks like she's executed that quite well, clearing blue out the way and hitting the hoop. I'm not sure that yellow can go through the hoop from there, but it's still in good position to at least get in front or in the jaws. But yes, going back to Addison's question, do you think the current weather is affecting the execution of shots? Certainly play seems to be worse when it rains. It's just a little bit miserable, a little bit distracting, and you're not quite as focused on the shot as you would be on a clear day. So that's probably, causing a few more errors than we'd be likely to see. The biggest impact of the rain is that it slows down the lawns. So the lawns here are already quite nice and green. I think they're a good pace for this event, but they're not quite as quick as they could be. I don't think we're expecting a lot of rain further on in the event, so hopefully they'll dry up and quicken. But certainly today they'll be slowing down with this. It's another nice shot from Louise there, right in the middle. So black has stayed nearby the hoop. Jamie now has the same shot Louise had earlier. The difference is that she has a ball in front here. So if she clears blue, it sets herself up an opportunity to run with red. Okay, not quite coming off, so Louise has the option to stop shot red or go for her hoop. This is a good indicator of how confident she's feeling. If she's feeling confident, she'll just go straight for the hoop. That's what she's after. I think this is a good choice. Yeah, nice smooth stroke. So that brings it back to 6-4. A couple more comments on the chat. Fran is saying that the weather looks better than it was in New Zealand for the under-21s final. I can confirm that it's much nicer here than it was in New Zealand on that particular day. We're getting a bit of a misty drizzle at the moment, which Izzy's been complaining about. She wants it to make its mind up and rain properly. But I think the players are probably happy with this light drizzle for the moment.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, obviously if it's a heavy rain, the game will probably stop because it's too heavy to actually play. But if it missed like this over one, the lawns become too slow. Is there actually a point where you can measure when to stop if the lawns are too slow?
So you'll stop if the lawns become waterlogged. So if there's water visible on the surface of the lawn, that's very clearly a good indicator that you probably need to be stopping play. What you'll get are these kind of tails behind the balls sometimes where it kicks up water. That's another good indicator that the lawn is starting to flood. Players won't stop purely because it's raining, so the rain can be as heavy as you like, as long as it's not affecting the lawns to the point where it's unplayable. You'll carry on playing. So these lawns will be becoming slower, but not to the point yet where play needs to stop. And I think we should be okay for the rest of the day, even if it just continues with this drizzle. So a question, how precise to the boundary do you need to place your ball when you're about to play it? Most of the time it doesn't really matter where the ball goes off. You can put it on within a foot or so and it makes no difference. In some cases the ball will be in quite a critical position where there's something wiring it from another ball, so in those instances you do have to be a bit more precise as to where the ball is coming on. You always want to put the ball on before you get one of those scenarios, rather than trying to figure out where it was afterwards. And Jamie's executed that shot very nicely, clearing black and continuing through the hoop to take the game and the match. So 7-4 in the second and 2-0 to Jamie. So we'll be continuing coverage shortly for our next game. I'm just going to have a quick look to see who's playing. Bring up croquet scores. If you're not familiar with croquet scores, are you familiar with croquet scores, Izzy?
I think I'm slowly starting to understand them.
Excellent. Now my friends have been starting to notice croquet scores recently, and they'll text me to say well done or bad luck, and I've had no idea that they've been following the tournament, but it's nice to follow it. So yes, if you look up croquetscores.com, at the very top, the Women's Golf Croquet World Championship, you can look at all the results so far this tournament.
I think we're being waved at.
We're being waved at, that's nice. Stu has kindly pointed the camera at us. Brilliant work, Stu. So Stu here supporting Louise. You can go and give her a pep talk after that. She put up a decent performance, hit some nice shots, but it was always going to be a tough opponent for her in that game. So I believe we're about to watch Sohar Mustafa, who is the #1 ranked player in this event from Egypt, and she'll be playing Diana Wilson, who is an English player. Her home club is Roehampton, and we've actually just been talking to her, Izzy and I, over in the hut on Lawn 1. So she was thinking about her strategy for the game. I'm not sure if she's actually played yet, so she might want a bit of a warm-up. looking over at the player that's currently on the lawn, it seems they may have changed the lawn allocation, so we're not going to be watching the game I've just told you about. We are actually going to be watching Cheryl Bromley against Christina Brandenburg. So I will find out where both of those players are from. I haven't met either of them before. So Cheryl Bromley is from USA, and Christina is from... Izzy's helping me with the flag here.
Do you not know it?
I don't. Go
I'm
on.
pretty sure that is...
Are we thinking Sweden?
I think that's Sweden.
Wait, okay, we're going to go with Sweden. Someone please correct us if we're wrong.
Please.
So this is in the same block as Jamie and Louise that we've just watched, so it'll be interesting to carry on following this block. This is block H, and the players just having a warm-up. I think they're entitled to 10 minutes before a match. A lot of them are sitting out for a little while during the event while other games are on, so it's good for them to have the time to warm back up. So yes, another comment on the chat. A lot of people would say that the Egyptian players do perhaps worst of all the players here in cold weather. And certainly it's general opinion that if the weather's bad, it's going to be an advantage to other players. So actually when I was in New Zealand, I was quite pleased that there was a cyclone coming in before I had to play Forsey from Egypt, because although it was pretty miserable for the both of us, I'm used to playing in awful English weather, whereas Forsey is used to Egyptian weather, which on the whole is quite a bit nicer. So certainly an advantage to players who have experience playing in adverse weather conditions. We're losing some of the viewers from Australia, so fair enough. Apparently it's 1:30 in Canberra. I think that's a fairly good shift to have watched up until this point to support Jamie, and we hope to have you back tomorrow. So croquet, particularly golf croquet, has been referred to as chess on grass. Izzy here is an excellent chess player, so I'm sure she'll be picking up a lot of the tactics as we go along. Tactically, you do have to think ahead, as you would do in chess, so it's not just about the shot you're about to play, it's about what your opponent might choose to do after that shot. And if you can think generally 4 shots ahead, so a full rotation of the balls, and then determine whether that line of play is going to give you an advantage. If not, perhaps rethink, consider some different shots to try and find what's going to be the best a few shots ahead of the shot you're about to play. And a lot of the time you'll have very standard positions where you're in front of a hoop and it's obvious, you just have a go at the hoop. But sometimes we'll get these more exciting positions to talk through where there are multiple options, and a lot of the time there are multiple options, and you have to think which one is the best option. Now there's a clear difference to chess in that if I'm playing chess, the best move for me is going to be the same move as it would be for Izzy or for Magnus Carlsen. There is an optimum move in a game of chess. In a game of croquet, the best shot, it depends on a number of factors. So primarily it's going to be your own ability. So if you're a player with a vast amount of power, as a lot of the Egyptian players have a great deal of power, you can set up for kind of longer smashy clearances and just shift the opponent ball as far away as possible. If you're a player that has a more controlled style, then you might look to centre ball clearance, hang around the hoop and just build a good position at the hoop. It also depends on the ability of your opponent. So Izzy is a fan of watching jump shots. Going into the jaws of a hoop when you have an opponent 2 yards behind that you know is a good jumper is probably not such a good tactic. But if you're aware that perhaps they struggle with jump shots, then it can be more sensible. So gaining an understanding of your opponent's ability can play quite an important role in informing your tactics. As I say, I haven't watched either of these players play before, but over the course of the best of 3 they'll be learning from each other to see what they can do, and getting a sense of what lines of play they want to take. There are plenty of other things that also want to inform your tactics, as we might get to talk through over the course of the next game. It can depend on whether you're ahead in a game or behind. If you're ahead, it's more about preserving a lead, so you might be happy to concede a hoop as long as you're not conceding an advantage at the next hoop as well. If you're behind, you might have to start playing some more aggressive shots to try and gain advantages at next hoops. As I was saying to one of the players earlier, it makes no difference if you lose 7-0 or if you lose 7-6. At the end of the day, you've lost the game, and that's the point. So if you're 6-3 down, getting 6-4 up and then losing at 11, 7-4, isn't that much better than trying to get an advantage at 11 and potentially risking losing 7-3. So lots of things to think about, and hopefully we'll be able to talk you through as we're going.
So when you start off a GC game, is it better to have a more of a aggressive start then, to kind of help provide a lead and kind of put your opponent more into difficult positions rather than just trying to gently play along? Or?
Yeah, so again, it depends a little bit on how you're feeling and who you're playing. I like to have fairly quiet starts to games, so I don't want to play difficult shots at the start of a game. I want to kind of build my confidence, and then let's say we get to 3-all, I'll start playing a little bit more aggressively, taking on the bigger shots once I've worked my way into the game and assessed how my opponent's playing. Sometimes if you're playing an opponent that's, say, much stronger than you are, it can be best to just come out guns blazing, going for everything. You won't get it all the time, but taking those shots on, giving yourself a chance of getting through the hoop may be your best option against a really good player. So yeah, it depends how you're feeling, and ultimately confidence is a big part of the game. And if you're feeling confident, then taking on the big shots is probably a good plan. I've been talking instead of drinking my tea, and in the 20 minutes it's been here, it's become quite cold. So that tells you how the weather is.
It's beautiful English weather.
Yeah, I don't know what we expected from August.
But compared to last year when it was heat waves and...
Yeah, when you were here for the Worlds.
It's lovely.
Yeah, so Izzy seems to enjoy the sun just as much as the croquet. Oh, I'm listening to myself. That's interesting.
That tells you how the weather is.
Can I mute myself? Izzy, you know how to use a laptop? Yeah, when you were here for the Worlds. Yeah, so Izzy seems to enjoy the sun just as much. Okay, well, Izzy doesn't know how to use a laptop either, apparently. Oh, we're getting somewhere. There we go, thank you, Izzy.
You're welcome. Tech support coming in handy.
Yep. Always a bit disconcerting having to listen back to your own commentary.
Oh no. Very insightful commentary about the weather.
Yep. Yeah, it's not letting up. The forecast was looking okay earlier, but perhaps not so much. Tomorrow looks better, so there's more hope. Looks like Cheryl is ready to go. Christina came on the lawn a little bit later for her practice, so just making the most of her 10-minute practice time. No reason not to. You want to stay? Oh dear. I'm continuing to struggle with the laptop, so Izzy's in control. So just doing coin toss now. Can we get the live chat back? Can we see if you can do that? So Cheryl's won the toss and is playing blue over to hoop 1. Just coming up a little bit short there. So Christina here trying to come in behind blue. Again, just falling a little bit short. As we've said, the lawns have probably slowed down since these players were last on them, so it'll take them a bit of time to adjust. One of the things that I'd recommend doing with your practice time or warm-up time before a game is playing this approach over to hoop 1. Often it's the last thing I do before actually starting a game, and it feels a bit like cheating to play the shot you're just about to play. But it is a shot that you need to play, and if you play it well, it can give you a good head start in the game. So definitely a shot that's worth playing during your warm-up. Both these players are very well wrapped up. Yeah, that's good position with red, pretty much perfectly straight in line with the hoop. Looks like black might be able to have a go at the hoop 1 here, but it is quite angled, so she may choose just to take better position or clear red. Players are having a brief discussion. I wasn't watching completely, so I'm not sure if they've potentially played a wrong ball. No, they seem to be happy to move on. And that's a nice shot going through hoop 1. Quite a difficult angle. I think that's going to be okay to play up to hoop 2. If it comes through an extra inch or so, then you can struggle to get a mallet to it, whereas there you can still hit it. It's just the hoop is in the middle of the swing. Players have just gone back over to corner 4 to get some clips. As I was explaining to Izzy earlier, players don't necessarily need the clips. It's easy enough to count to 7 in your head, but the clips are useful for us as spectators and to the manager, so he can keep an eye on the progress of games. Thank you to Damon, the USCA president, who is delighted to see Cheryl playing in the event. It's nice that we can feature players from different countries on the show lawn. It should be good viewing time over in America at the moment. I think we timed Jamie from Australia quite well, just late into the night, so that people could stay up to watch her. You probably know better than I do what time it is across the US, Izzy?
I believe it should be roughly 8 o'clock towards the west coast, so California.
Okay, perfect. Bit of croquet before heading out to work then. So yellow, again, a little bit short there. I've forgotten where all the slopes are on this lawn, but it's, I think, a little bit uphill to get to hoop 2 from hoop 1. Blue there taking really nice position. That's a very nice shot. Yep, that's good red. It hasn't got in the way of yellow clearing blue. Now we'll see what Cheryl can do with this black. It's always a little bit harder to judge the position on these shots where you have to stop the mallet like that. She hasn't quite committed to that as much as she needed to. Perhaps it was a little bit harder than it looked from here. There's always the slight worry of snapping the shaft of the mallet if you hit it too hard and it collides with the crown of the hoop. So, no need to risk doing that.
Central Time to 10 AM apparently.
There we go. Ooh, nearly unfortunate, but I think that's actually quite a good outcome. So blue has gone behind the hoop so that it can't clear red, and yellow has got quite a good way over to hoop 3. So I think Cheryl here will try and tuck through the back of the hoop. And she's played that nicely, so I think that should be blocking red. So if she'd played blue a little bit more gently there and it had stayed closer to the hoop, it would have been harder for red to clear it without knocking it through. But what you don't want to do with blue when you're playing it through the back is to leave it in the jaws of the hoop, because then you need an extra shot to put it the right side before you can come back. So Cheryl made sure that blue got through the hoop there, and it just went a few inches further than would have been ideal. Yellow not quite reaching position, so blue can tuck in front here. Ideally you're going for wired from red. I think red can see the side of that if it wants to have a go. That's a good shot from red. Turned out she could see all of blue there. She's cleared blue to somewhere where it can still run the hoop, but it won't be as trivial as it was. So black's now going to have a go. This is about 3 yards. Just hitting the left-hand wire there as she was playing it. I have seen some quite good rejections from these quadways. So quadways are thought to be a little bit more difficult than standard hoops to run. Hold a little bit firmer in the ground. They're the same width all the way up, so jump shots are slightly more difficult. And they will give you kind of bigger rejections, so where the ball doesn't go through and hits the side of the hoop and bounces off. So it's good that we have them here for this event. I'm sure viewers have probably heard plenty about them, but if you do have any questions, let me know. So a slightly unfortunate shot with blue there, just knocking yellow into the jaws. Okay, so not much Cheryl could do to get yellow out. So Christina runs hoop 2 to bring it to 1-all. So blue a little bit short there. Christina's made sure to go the far side of it. You don't want to be shorter than blue and allow it to clear you back into the lawn. So that's a decent positioning with red there. And that black's much better than her first shot over with blue. It's nice to see players improving with their second shot over to a hoop. They've learned from the pace and slopes of the first one and put a better ball in second time. So Maggie Hayworth is asking a question about double taps. So at hoop 2 earlier, Christina's yellow was very close to the hoop, and one of the faults that I talked about earlier was a crunch, which is where you hit the ball into the hoop and the mallet is still in contact with the ball. A double tap is, as it sounds, when you hit the ball twice, and that can happen if you hit it into the hoop and it bounces back onto the mallet. And it is a risk with angled hoops. You don't want to be following through on the shot, so you play it a little bit more like a stop shot and just ground the mallet. If you do a full follow through, you're likely to double tap it. But yeah, if you hit the ball in the right place, it'll go through the hoop. If you hit it onto the wire, it may well bounce back into the mallet, which would be a fault. That's really nice clearance from red there. Pretty much centre ball. Black can play back in, but red's hung around the hoop. Rachel is joining us in the background. How's it going, Rachel?
Okay, I'm just about to go on.
Excellent. Who are you playing?
I'm playing Sylvia from Latvia.
Okay, very good. She's had quite a good start, is that right?
She has, yes.
Excellent.
She's just starting her 10-minute warm-up. I only get 5, so
Ah, okay.
I shall be disappearing shortly.
Which lawn are you on?
I'm on lawn 5.
Okay, so we'll be able to keep an eye on Rachel's game for you. No pressure.
How's that life in the commentary box, Aston?
It's a little bit cold. I was kind of hoping to be in a hut, but we're under this beer umbrella.
Protecting the equipment.
Protecting the equipment, yep, that's the key. But no, I think it's going well. Hopefully Izzy's learning about the game.
Certainly had a lot of questions building up.
Good. Fire away. What do you think the speed of the lawns is, Rachel?
So on practice day, so Sunday, they were about 10. They were running about 10, we thought.
Okay.
Seemed to get a bit faster yesterday after they'd been mowed. Not sure what impact the rain is going to have had today. Had quite a lot of rain today. We had a nice block in the middle of the day where it seemed to subside, but looking at the clouds around, I think it's going to stick with us for a little while longer.
Unfortunately. Yeah, you can see the water droplets building up on the lawns now, and you're getting trails from where the balls have been and where the players have walked.
They are running reasonably slow.
Yes. What's your favourite pace of lawn? What would you like it to be in the final?
Fast. Reasonably fast. Makes the conditions more challenging.
Yeah. I was explaining to Izzy earlier the slightly counterintuitive way of measuring the speed of lawns. I think that may have dribbled through hoop 3, so it's a good result from yellow. Let's take it to 2-1 to Christina.
Yeah, I think she should have enough space to be able to get a mallet on the back of the ball as well. So
Yeah.
she should be able to have a clean approach down to hoop 4.
Cheryl had a similar case at hoop 1 where the ball just dribbled through. She struggled slightly to get a mallet to it. I think it may have been a little bit further than that yellow is. But that yellow should be okay as long as it's straight on the hoop and hasn't hilled one way or the other.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you don't really think about in terms of, how awkward it can be. There's a really awkward spot, isn't there?
Yep. If it just takes a little bit of hill to left or right and the wire's right in front of it, and that's terrible. If it goes through, what would you say, about 4 inches? Is that the awful point where you can't get a mallet through the back of the hoop and can't get it forward?
Yeah, I mean, depends on the length of your mallet head a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, sort of anything in that 4 to 4 inches to, probably 1.5 foot, sort of being able to make sure you get a quick, clean swing on it. Yeah, that looked easy.
Yep, easy, clean shot. Judged the pace nicely on that as well.
Yeah, reasonable position. Not as nice as black, obviously, but
Yeah, black's an excellent shot. So blue here will look to clear red and hold position as well. If possible, clearing red to behind the hoop where it can't then shoot back at black would be ideal.
yeah, so that sort of position where you've got red a little bit further back from the hoop, so probably 3 or 4 yards, and then it's really standard play just to see the next ball try and play into a really tight position, blocking the hoop shot. Right, I think my 5 minutes are nearly up, so I'm going to go and have
good
my
luck.
little warm up. Thank you.
Just letting Rachel get onto the lawn before I start bigging her up, but I'm sure most of the viewers are probably familiar with Rachel G, top English player in the event, previous women's world champion. It's a nice strike with red there, close to black but not quite close enough, so trivial hoop for Cheryl here to bring it back to 2-all. And even better, I now get to explain the offside rule to Izzy. So Cheryl's pointing over at the red. She wants it moved to an offside penalty area. So if the ball goes more than halfway between the hoop that you've just played and the next hoop, without coming off an opponent ball, or getting there in the same shot that the hoop has been run with, then it's considered to be offside. And so your opponent can direct that ball to one of the penalty areas, which are in line with the peg over on the east and west boundaries. Here Cheryl has directed Christina over to the penalty area on the west boundary. And that just prevents you from taking position in front of the next hoop. Let's say Izzy had 2 balls in front of hoop 2 and I'm giving up. I could just play over immediately in front of 3. Izzy wouldn't then want to run 2 because I'd go straight through 3. So that's where the offside rule comes into play to avoid that from happening. And it also adds to some of the tactics where you can look to flick off your opponent's ball to gain an advantage at the next hoop. So, do you have some questions for me then, Izzy?
Well, the one question I was going to interject when you were discussing about the is it the crush
Yes.
again, is with the stop shots. It seems like you hit into the grass to stop it, or is it more you stopping it, or is it the grass stopping it?
Yes, so you don't want to be hitting into the grass with the front face of the mallet.
Mm-hmm.
If you kind of dig up the lawn to the point where it interferes with the path of ball over that patch of the lawn, that's lawn damage and that's a fault in itself.
Okay.
What you can do is kind of ground the back of the mallet into the grass on your stop shot to just prevent it from following through. But again, you don't want to be damaging the lawn, it's just a way of stopping the mallet from going through. But yeah, generally you just picture where the ball is and think that's the point you want to hit. and you just pull the mallet back as you hit the ball to stop it from following through. Some players play a lot of their clearance shots with a stop shot style, not much follow through. Other players will follow through with the mallet all the way above their head. So it comes more naturally to some than others. Stu, who is just approaching, is one of the players that likes to play his clearances with more of a stop shot style.
Yes, it's very much more style.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's a good style or a bad style. It's definitely
It seems to work for you, doesn't it? So that makes it a good style. You've given up on your camera duties of kindly pointing the camera directly at us.
I was asked to focus on the wonderful commentary team, so
Excellent.
I did as I'm told.
Okay. So we've got Stu and Keith here, dream team from earlier, who are back to take control. So I will pass you on to them to take over this match. Thank you all very much for listening. I will be back tomorrow. And thank you, Izzy, very much for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me.
Nobody has yes, but you can ask them. Oh, well, good afternoon, everybody. And thank you to Aston and Izzy. Very informative bit of commentary there. It's myself, Stuart Smith, back with Keith Aiton.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to sunny Southwick.
So we're currently watching Cheryl Bromley versus Christina from Sweden. So we're not in control of the scoring at this precise moment anymore. That's been passed over to the.
Well, we could look at the
office.
clips, couldn't we?
It's currently 2 hoops apiece.
It's 2-all.
It is indeed.
And I think we're in game 1.
We are still in game 1, yes. So it's with Christina currently nestled in hoop 5. I must confess we joined it, and I'm not 100% sure which direction the yellow's coming from. It's the only downfall. I'm sure we'll soon find out. I don't suppose you see how yellow gets
Everything will become clear, Stu, in the fullness of time.
But Aston, as always, is a wonder to listen to. He's just got that perfect voice for this type of thing.
It's our BBC voice, isn't it?
He is, yes, he is.
Oh, well, it wasn't totally nestled in the hoop, was it?
No. Okay, so now we know where we are.
Yes.
That was a good clearance. It was a good clearance. This is particularly challenging conditions today.
Well, don't let the fact that the players have got every single layer they've brought with them currently on. It's actually a lovely summer's day here, isn't it?
It's sweltering. I'm sure this brolly we're on is to protect us from this searing heat.
Yeah, we've got a lovely sun umbrella over us at the moment, which we didn't have yesterday.
No, we didn't. I've got a red face because of it.
You tanned up nicely, didn't you? Yeah, I haven't put the sun cream on today.
Oh, you're going to regret it, I'm telling you.
It's taking a risk. Right.
So yellow come back in after being cleared from the hoop. And
no.
it's a lovely little shot.
Yeah. And that's drawn applause.
That's nice control. The power of putting it in the hoop.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do here, is there?
No,
really.
Would you be more inclined to move the black and perhaps go for the straight to jump with yellow?
Oh,
okay.
It wasn't okay. I've been fooled again because I actually thought that was nestled nicely in the hoop.
Oh, I must confess I did.
Now what do you do? This blue must be sort of in front now, so
I
runnable.
It's not necessarily sure blue's runnable, so a relative sort of stop shot, if you like. Or really could have done with the middle of that yellow there. Created the distance, stopped the hoop run, but lost control of the black, unfortunately.
That's probably blocking blue, isn't it?
I think it is. I'm not so sure she'd have potentially risked the hoop run with.
Well, she going maybe an in off.
The in off or the clear of the yellow and sit in the jaws is definitely a possibility here. Well, it certainly looks it from this angle. That just went for the clearance. Not worried about anything else. Nobody in particular is in control of this hoop at this point. It's anybody's hoop at the moment. I think Christina from Sweden may be our lowest handicapped person. Also, certainly, I think I checked her earlier. She was playing off about 1300. So to be playing and competing is impressive.
Now Cheryl's just brought the ball in there, Stu, so for those of us who aren't completely au fait with the rules, what's the rule on moving the ball in from the boundary?
The idea is you can ask for relief if you feel you can't either A, get your full backswing, and unfortunately at that end of the lawn the nets are quite close to the boundary, or if you can't get your feet, you don't feel your feet are on flat surface or flat ground, you can ask to take relief and bring that ball in a little bit, just to ensure that your feet are flat and you're not going to be hampered on your backswing.
Right.
Those sort of outside court sort of issues, if you like.
Now somebody earlier was telling me that you always have to move it in on the line that you're going to play, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So if you're coming in and aiming for a ball or a hoop, so you bring it into the direction you're looking to play it in. That way you're not changing the potential angle, so you can see a little bit more of your target ball or the hoop. So other than the only thing you gain then is a confidence on your backswing, really. Cheryl asking Christina just to move out of her eye, sort of peripheral vision there a little bit. Looking to send red back onto the south boundary.
Well, that's possibly even better.
Yes, she's cut it across, kept blue
further away.
Yeah, kept blue straight.
Yeah.
Give blue a view at the hoop if necessary.
Now we've got, don't know if these comments that I'm just having a look at on the YouTube channel have been dealt with or not.
Well, do you want to have a go just in case not, Keith? So how do you avoid a double tap when your ball is that close to the hoop?
Well, we didn't know how close that ball was, did we?
So how do you avoid a double tap if the ball is close to the hoop then?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. One method, I guess, is that I've seen people use is you sort of slice across the ball,
you almost
so that if the ball does come back off the wire, the mallet's no longer going to be in the path of the ball. Whereas if you just go straight, follow straight through, or even try and stop the mallet, and the ball comes back off the wire, then you're still going to be.
That's the.
And the question was answered.
And the question was, the question was that's fine.
Damon says it's not really a typical summer's day. Well, you've not been to England before, Damon. I'm pretty sure you have, mate.
This is definitely a typical English summer's day. The only thing that's missing is the scones and strawberries, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a little bit of sort of interplay around hoop 5 here. So Red's just coming hoping to get on the line of blue. Looks like not quite made on the line of blue, and
Well, something I've been noticing, Stu, from watching the games is you occasionally get a hoop that's sort of decided fairly quickly after the previous hoop.
Yes.
And sometimes you get this.
You do get this. I mean, the majority of the time this will come from perhaps a misplaced positional shot where the opposition then just puts their ball in. You end up with a little sort of clearing fest for a few minutes afterwards. Also, if a player is not always 100% confident with their clearance shot or their clearance power, they might end up just trying to put a little blocker in. And if those blocks pay off, it might be a longer exchange at the hoop. But it looks like we've developed a hoop shot here. So Christina's got a go with red. And that looks to have stuck itself in there. It's got what else? We have just kindly been asked if we'd like a nice hot cup of tea, because it's quite cold and wet out here, but I must confess the beer was far more appealing. I'd like everybody to know the drink I'm currently having was brought to me kindly by Keith here.
Well, I was returning the favour from earlier on, Stu. So Chris Roberts has gone out.
Yes.
Very keen referee, Chris, isn't he?
He is a keen
likes to get involved.
He does. I did see him running earlier. He got somebody. Mallet went up and he came running. It's like the bat symbol went up. So they are.
You can always tell the referees, can't you? Because they've got these bright green caps. It's very helpful for the players to identify who's the referee.
It was a good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. Not quite sure why Francis wears her green cap over her pink hat, but it's definitely a style. So the referee's currently been brought on here because the idea is that we're going to potentially block with the. Oh no! Okay.
Go on, talk us through it.
Well, I think the idea is the yellow's being moved. So she was a bit concerned about just how much she was going to gain from the clearance stroke.
Okay.
So she's called the referee on.
She's got a hampered backswing.
She's got a hampered backswing.
Yeah.
So she's called the referee on, which is fair play. She's called the referee on just to make sure that she feels that everything's correct and just.
Oh.
But then played the ball in. Okay, fair enough.
Now then.
It seems an awful lot of effort to bring the referee on just to pull the ball in. But
If Blue goes for a walk here, she would. Oh well.
Yes. This immediately why I thought we was going to have a go at moving the yellow here, just to put some protection in for the blue.
Sure.
But obviously she opted to put the black in instead. That's fair enough. And she's a little bit lucky that the blue took a lot of the hoop and stayed about. And with a good clearance from the back of the hoop here, black's in a lovely position.
Yeah, we've got rid of red.
That's a lovely shot. And the unfortunate side of that is that with the blue hitting the hoop is it's now switched the control of the hoop.
Yeah, it's very much blue and black.
Yes, it's completely switched it. It just shows the difference, that one shot. That little bit of misfortune maybe. He's switched it completely.
Get back in the jaws though, that would be nice.
No?
Don't think it's blocked either.
No, I think this is a straightforward hoop shot here. No, I think it was black, judging by the looks of it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, well,
I think I'd have probably gone for the hoop. I know yellow's halfway down, so perhaps do you think that was in her mind?
yeah, I guess it was, no, yeah, maybe. Point's the point though.
It wasn't particularly that far down the lawn, but may have been in her mind. It certainly looked like she could see the hoop.
To my untrained eye, Stu, blue and black don't look quite as much in control as they were a couple of shots ago.
No, it just shows how quick it can change. I am surprised she didn't go for the hoop there, but perhaps she couldn't see it. It did look like she could see the hoop from where we were sat. So it's perfect opportunity here just to put
This looks
again.
like
Yeah, it's
clearance.
clearance yellow to the south boundary here. Unfortunately, that was quite a way away. It's the right shot, it just didn't quite work out that time.
So, yellow will presumably
Stop shot
clear
on
blue.
blue now.
Look at
Hopefully almost change places or sit where the blue currently is if she gets this right.
Okay.
We've switched again, Keith. It's back to
Yeah, I know.
back to yellow
To
and
me,
red.
I would say red and yellow are in charge, but what do I know?
No, we are looking at seeing how each individual opponent plays, because I'd like to think that Christine will be confident enough to have a go at the hoop with the red here. So
I think we'll find out.
we will find out.
We'll find
you know,
out in a moment.
Although
Unless
because-
black manages to block.
But because clearing the blue, she's pushed blue towards 6. That may then also influence her
okay.
decision. So.
Yeah, good point. It's not black's go.
Oh, it's not black's go. No.
It's blue's go.
So we need to be paying more
We got
attention.
fooled there.
We need to be paying
Yeah,
more
we know.
attention.
Well,
It did look like Cheryl was about to play black. It didn't really take that it's blue to go. There we go.
right.
So
This
is it-
looks like
It does look like hoop.
red could have a go here.
It does look like hoop. Looking for a nice, confident hoop run now. Try and get clearly beyond the hoop. Unfortunately, it appears to
Oh,
miss
is
the
it?
hoop altogether there.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. So what do you do here then, Keith? Just put the black back in?
Well, I can't see anything wrong with that, can you?
No. Do you try and attempt to hide it from red as well?
I guess so. This looks like a tempted blocker.
Attempted block, yellow and blue. Looks like a good effort.
Oh,
Well, that would suggest
yeah.
it's a very good effort.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're in a decision here. I mean, obviously, the
I
jump.
think this hoop's going to be scored soon.
You think this is a jump shot? We're going to
Well,
finish
I'm
this
not
with a
saying
jump
it's
shot?
going to happen now, but
I think we're going for a jump shot. If this. Oh no. Okay.
yeah, you see.
Cheryl's reaction suggests that that might have been the intention, because certainly her footing would suggest that that was the intention.
Well, it's worked out quite well.
It's worked out very, very well. Well, I hope this soup is run soon, Keith, because it's cold Saturday. So the red come back in. I'm assuming the red was coming to try and nudge black across.
Well,
it was
I
unsuccessful.
think this is going to be a point.
So I think this is your hoop run soon.
It is.
So again, as we were a little bit earlier with Christina, the key is nice clean. Try and get yourself somewhere near halfway, at least.
Okay. Well, that's not a disaster.
No.
I mean, I guess yellow could get it out of the hoop now.
With yellow behind, there's definitely a possibility, yeah. And if she does hit it,
Don't think it's very far in the hoop.
No. If she does make contact, then we may swap back to red and yellow being in charge. Well, she's got enough of it. It does appear that may have opened the hoop up for the red. It's definitely been an interesting hoop. There's a lot been going on. So we're looking to put blue back in and put the sweat back in. Put the blue back in
It's
again.
going quite deep.
Yeah, unfortunately, the lawns have slowed down an awful lot today. Finding a lot of players are dropping the ball short. Just trying to get that sort of change of muscle memory to sort of tweak it up a little bit. Give the ball just a little bit more.
It's muscle amnesia I tend to suffer from, Stu.
I must confess, people do tend to comment about my game that it's almost sometimes that somebody flicks a switch. I'll suddenly be playing really well, and then it's like somebody just comes in and just turns me down a bit, and then I'll get to the point where I can't anything at all. So again, we've switched to who's in control of the hoop again.
Yeah.
I mean, they are, in fairness, they are really difficult conditions to play in. I said the lawns have got slower. There's plenty of wind about. Short bursts of particularly not very pleasant rain, and then the rest of the time it's just drizzle. So as you can see by the players, they're wrapped up, and I mean Christina can't see a lot. She's give herself a small hole to peer out of just to stay dry. That's a nice clearance, right in the centre, kept blue close by. It's very difficult to tell whether.
I think this has got to be a clearance attempt, isn't it?
Yeah, it does look like black runs from here.
Yeah, well, it won't run now.
No, that's again.
However, red's down there, yellow's near fourth corner, and black's clearly going to come in, I assume.
Yes, it does look like Cheryl's looking to put it on the line of red.
Yeah.
Would you not be tempted to try and play and pull a block on blue? He's got quite a nice line to find the block line on blue. So just opted to hopefully put it in on line of the red. And we could find another shot at the hoop here.
Or you can block
Red from Sif.
red from black. can't
Black
you?
does look a little bit wide from here, but it may be slightly better than
think
our
red-
angle.
I
our
think red's
angle.
in front.
Yeah.
Sorry, black's in front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's a,
that would suggest.
I think that was an attempted block.
It certainly looks that way. Is it a positive attempted block?
It was definitely an attempted block.
I'm trying to gauge Christina's sort of shot stance here. I think she instead of bringing the ball here, she opted for a slightly different style rather than trying to bring the ball in off the boundary by the looks of it from there.
Right, here we go.
Now here we go. So again, for the third time,
Yeah.
nice confident hoop run,
Yes.
get herself over halfway. Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it's a lovely
And down
shot.
to 6 could be a 2-pointer.
Nice control.
Meanwhile, it's clearly brightening up.
You'll have your mankini on before long, Keith. You know. You'll be basking in it. So Yellow come in there, tried to get really tight position. Unfortunately, went a little bit wide, leaving, I think, Red having to clear Black here.
Yeah, red's. It's cut down red's options.
It has.
Basically.
It's a wild smash at the hoop, or just clear the Black. There's not a lot else I'd have put in here, really.
Between the two.
I think that was the Black, which unfortunately she sailed past. So we could find another hoop in quick succession here. And the last little exchange and the very confident hoop run at 5 may give Cheryl the confidence to go for this one as well. Being reminded that she hadn't pegged 5.
Oh yes. Get the clothes pegs out again.
Yes, yeah. If anybody out there's got any bright ideas to improve the pegging system, having plastic close pegs, we spend most of the tournament running around replacing the ones that get broken.
There's a gap in the market.
There's
here,
definitely a gap in the
yeah.
market. I mean, there are some clubs that have metal pegs, which are quite nice.
Now,
But they are few and far
we
between.
could have got 2 hoops in quick succession there, but I'm kind of sensing we could be in for another long struggle at hoop 6. What do you think?
We certainly could be. That's probably not the best shot choice there, because Black's just going to dislodge it and open that hoop
you
right
say
back up
that,
again.
but can't red move black?
Red can move Black. It does give you a hell of a shot to try and stay in this hoop, really, I believe.
That's what she's going for.
Yeah, I think it's what she has to go for at this point. And she's got
Yeah,
good
oh
contact.
well.
She's moved. It hasn't gone particularly far, but it's certainly made the clearance on Yellow a lot more difficult.
Yeah, you've got to be careful you don't just pop Yellow through the hoop.
Well, at least pop it into the jaws, yeah. So she's having a look at the angle she's going to need to play this at to make sure she clears it. which is, as you said, she's driven that into the hoop and kept it close by. So
without hesitation,
yes,
Christina's taking this on.
Christina for 3-all.
Lovely.
Well done.
Magnetic hoop markers.
Yeah, so the Wine Lake has said they use magnetic hoop markers. I'd like to have a look at those to see how good they are. Because anything's better. I mean, there are clubs around England that seem... I remember one of my old clubs that at the end of every season they had all the pegs in for repainting. So because they struggled to find all the different colours of pegs, they bought white pegs, and then they suddenly had to go and hand paint the individual colours onto the pegs, and obviously they chip off as the season goes on, and then it was part of the end of season job was to repaint the pegs.
Excellent.
So a lovely position in there from Blue. I'm not so sure she attempted the block there. It was more just to get black in front. Unfortunately, Christina's sailed on by there, so a pretty straightforward hoop shot here now for Blue. So this is as we were saying, I'm sure most say, that trying to gain an advantage at the next hoop is key, especially when you're that close and straight on. You should really be looking to gain the advantage at the next hoop as well. But at this point in time, we just settled for the point, and that's 4-3 to Cheryl, 4-3 to Black and Blue, or Blue and Black. So do you play the game differently, Keith, when you feel you're sort of coming from behind, or?
I don't play the game at all, Stu, barely.
Well, you must have played it before now.
I have. Well, yes, that is true, I have. And coming from behind is my sort of normal modus operandi, as it turns out. Not intentionally.
No.
As a hasten to add, but
the thing is, you constantly have a look at trying to gain advantage of the next hoop a little bit more than you do if you're in front. So obviously Cheryl's at this point chance of going in front, so happy just to take the hoop. But if at that point she was 4-2 down, she perhaps would have taken that shot differently, looking to gain an advantage as she was behind.
Well, would she not be trying to do that anyway, don't you think?
Well, you'd like to think that was the idea, was to gain advantage at the next two, but sometimes players are happy just for the point. They're currently in front, I'll get the point and I'll deal with what comes up next. So I think obviously Red's got half a hoop shot here, but Blue's likely to stop that happening. So a nice little shot in from Black. Yeah, stopped any possible hoop run, I think, from Yellow here.
So presumably Yellow spotted that Red may not be there in a couple of strokes time, so they better deal with Black now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's slightly wide. I don't think Yellow could run from where.
I'm not sure. Anyway,
I think the intention was just to cut Black to one side there.
So Red may well need to clear Black.
I think Red's going to need to clear Black from quite a way away if Cheryl gets this right.
Oh, that's a good shot.
Yeah, keeping Blue nice and close. A ripple of applause there from our American friends, American teammates rather.
Okay, I've got a question about the running of the quadway hoops in the wet. Well, I'm guessing they probably are a bit easier when the ground's softer, but nonetheless, they may still be harder than other hoops.
They definitely are harder than other hoops, even in the wet. I mean, in the wet, there is the advantage of the balls being a little bit skiddier, working the way through, and the ground being a little bit softer does mean that the quadways will give way just a little bit more, but they still prove far more challenging than the standard hoops.
It's the angle, isn't it? It's the angled hoops that are the problem.
Yeah. They obviously, having slightly softer hoops, it can be an advantage to open them up just a little bit. There's not much in it, to be honest.
I think Christina was a bit hampered there, so she couldn't do more with yellow.
No, that is unfortunate.
It
So
is
to have,
from her point of view.
yeah, so to have lost hoop 8 and had no chance of gaining position at 9 is an unfortunate position to find herself, but she's had to do the same with the red as well, unfortunately.
So a moment ago it was 3-all, and it's now 5-3, and it could be 6-3.
Yes.
Very
yeah.
shortly.
Yes, it just shows how quick somebody can take control of the game. Two decent hoop runs and a bit of misfortune, and all of a sudden you're up against it. So we could sort of really rub the salt in here, and 3 hoops in quick succession here with a good confident hoop run. Unfortunately we didn't get it, but
Well, there's still black.
it is. The black looks a little bit wider, but it gives Christina a chance to get back in this hoop, which is good. Have you had much to do with quadways hoops, Keith? Have you played with them much at all?
No, I don't think I've ever played with them, actually. I remember trialling one in New Zealand before they became the sort of hoop of choice out there. It was at Christchurch, which has got very firm ground anyway.
Yes, yeah.
And I have to say, I didn't particularly notice. I mean, I just thought the hoops were difficult. Here's another hoop that's difficult, if you know what I mean.
Yes, yeah. They do benefit from firmer ground. Obviously the idea is that they're just a little bit more challenging.
Well, we've got square carrots or parsnips or
Whatever you want to call them, yes. Yeah.
And I think the theory is they don't move as easily in the ground, is that right?
That's correct,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, they just stay firmer. And the good thing is the way that they're engineered and the way they're made, they are the same width all the way up. You do find sometimes with the standard sort of Davidsons or Jakes or the standard wider hoops, they are slightly wider at the top.
Makes jump shots easier.
Yes. Well, I'd like to think so, but I still miss a lot.
Got to miss the near wire, Stuart. It's not hit the crossbar. It's not difficult, mate.
I'd like to think I could get it high enough to hit the crossbar. I normally put my opponent through. So that hoop miss by blue at 9 is sort of put this hoop as anybody's now. Pretty much put it up for grabs.
Well, do you think blue can see red to clear it?
It's very difficult to tell.
Because it looks like Christina's decided yellow needs to clear black, don't you?
It does. This definitely looks like a clearance shot, so you may be correct. It does look like blue might be able to see red from here.
Moved it, but
that's unfortunate.
Well, I think it's definitely angled now. Nonetheless, I think red is disappearing.
Christina needs a trainer's on to go and fetch the red here, I think.
Yep, she's getting her steps in today.
That's a relatively straightforward clearance, but still, to get that distance is is good. Leaving Christina with Christina's opted to not try to move the black. Whether black's are slightly more angled than it looks from here, Keith, it's hard to tell.
She's aiming almost straight at it. That's what we suggested. It's not trivial.
No. In this case, Christina felt she hadn't quite got the...
That looked like near wide to me.
It did. That is unfortunate. She's not particularly chuffed with herself there. Give herself a slap on the thigh and a punch of the netting. So yellow, I'd have probably opted there to put yellow a little bit deeper, and even if yellow would have come in runnable, it's a little bit too close to black at this point. I'd have probably opted to go a little bit deeper than that. But obviously if you come deep, you've got more chance to be able to see the hoop if you do drop it short.
Now where's blue, Kelly?
I'm not 100% sure. She's not trying to nudge black, you know.
I think she has nudged black.
She has nudged black.
Okay, well. It's not easy to see, but I'm guessing black's now in front of the hoop.
Yes.
If it wasn't before.
Ooh. Got a little clip on the black there and nearly put the red in the hoop. That would have been a nice stroke of luck, but unfortunately now Cheryl's in a position now where she's pretty much in front. Got a hell of a chance to get herself down to 10.
Okay, so that's what, 6-3 now?
This is 6-3. 6-3. As you brought me this, Keith, this is possibly the best point I've ever had.
My pleasure, Stu.
So again we're in this position where yellow was a bit hampered again there and couldn't really gain anything. So she had a bit of misfortune the last couple of hoops. You know, so although her opponents not only ran the hoop, but she's been hampered.
There's Gabrielle Higgins.
Hello,
She
Gabrielle.
come to do some commentary, Gabs. Oh,
Okay.
splendid.
Would you like to join Keith?
I'm sure.
Well,
Would you like to join me? Let's not fight over it.
well, I'm going to make way here for Gabrielle. So Gabrielle Higgins is going to step in with Keith. I shall hand over.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Is this your first time in the commentary booth?
First time ever in the commentary booth for any
And
form
what a
of
booth
croquet.
it is.
And what a booth it is. I'm glad we have some shelter from the rain.
You can't call this rain.
Rain.
Yes.
I can't call it rain, but I'm still wearing my waterproof, and I notice most of the players are as well.
And I certainly have every layer I've brought today on. So, but that's not for the rain. That's for the slight drop in temperature. Well, just to keep you, get you up to speed.
Oh!
Cheryl here is 6-3 up in game 1. However, Christina looks like she's got a potential opportunity to get back to 6-4. And she has.
Nicely done.
So how have you been getting on today? How's your campaign going so far?
My campaign was a little mixed. I played some of the worst croquet I'd ever played in game 1 against Maram Nabil. Came back and won game 2, and then played even worse than game 1 than in game 3. So lost 2-1 overall, but still quite pleased to have taken a game off the number 3 seed. And I wonder if this lawn is slower than others.
Well, the word on the street
underhitting.
is that lawn 3 is the slowest.
I haven't played on lawn 3 yet, but I was underhitting a lot yesterday, and both yellow and black are quite short on those shots.
Do you think so?
Well, black isn't even in front of the hoop.
Okay. I thought it might be able to have a go.
With the extra foot or so south, blue might possibly get in the jaws, but I don't think black can even jaws from there.
Okay.
Yellow might be plausible. But ideally you'd be on the west side of the hoop rather than the east anyway, wouldn't you?
I'm entirely in your hands when it comes to tactics, Gabrielle.
In which case it may be the blind leading the blind, because my tactics aren't great, but I thought the received wisdom was that you should ideally go on the far side of the hoop for a variety of reasons. Yeah, you see, I didn't.
Well, presumably if you're cleared from the side, then potentially the ball is cleared, you won't stay in position. I can understand that thinking.
That I think is the main reason.
Okay.
That if you're the far side of the hoop, there is no possibility of them staying in position if they clear you. It also adds another yard or two to the length of the clearance.
True. Yeah. So, do we think black is runnable at this stage?
I think black does look runnable. Because
So
it looked to
in
me like
which
yellow
case
just kissed it,
in
but
which
didn't
case
really move it.
Red is blocked in that case.
And I haven't been watching these players to know what their jumping skills are like. Do you think red could jump black? That might have to be a double jump.
Yeah, could be. Well, I think red.
It looks like red
this
might
could be
have a clear
jump.
path.
This is going to be a jump, potentially. No, I'm not sure it is.
I think looks
I
like it's a
think
clear
red could
path
just
to the hoop.
see black. Oh,
Yes.
in fact, see the hoop.
Yes. So Christina's fighting back well.
Yeah, back to
6-5.
6-5.
And what I can't see is whether black has got a clear path down to hoop 12,
You'd
or
think
whether
it
the
must
wire
have.
is in the way.
I think it must have, don't you?
She's looking at it a bit
Given
uncomfortably
red
though.
was able to get past black, do you think she's thinking about a promotion?
No, she's looking at going out to
I
the
know,
side.
I know.
Oh, she is thinking about promotion. Not convinced about that as a tactic. She had the opportunity to get first ball down to 12, and I think she should have taken it. That looks like a nice shot on yellow.
Yes, that looks very decent. Well, I think the promotion is pretty essential now. Don't you think?
Well, she's laid up for it, she's got to take it. But that means that black will be able to clear, but probably not stay in position, and blue will be left back near 11.
Yeah.
But that might be close enough to do a stop shot clear. I don't know, I don't think that is close enough to do a stop shot clearance on yellow and hold the position. She'll get the clearance, but I don't think black will stay in hoop running position.
So if red gets position here.
Blue's a long way to be able to clear it.
So we could be looking at
We could be looking at golden hoop.
golden hoop. Yeah. Or hoop 13, as it's sometimes known,
Yes.
I believe.
Less picturesque, hoop 13.
That's quite
Oh,
a
that's
effort.
good. That
Yeah,
does
that's a
stay
good
in front of
effort.
the hoop.
Yep.
But black will have to have a shot at the hoop, which it won't if red
Well, it won't if red has
stays
already
where
run
it
the
is
hoop.
and has run the hoop.
Yeah.
And the problem of doing the promotion is that blue is left back down near 11 with a long clearance now.
Yeah, time for an inspection.
Black looks like it's off to the side from
Well,
red.
what's blue going to do? Because if blue doesn't shift something, then red is going to clear black. Wouldn't you think? Move yellow the hoop. Because
Well,
you could
it
potentially
depends.
get red onside for 13.
If blue clears yellow,
Oh,
I think red will just run the hoop.
Yeah, okay.
So I think you've got to clear red, don't you? Oops. That looked like she was going for the hoop to me. Either that or it was
Or yellow.
possibly
I'm
yellow.
not sure.
So I think yellow is risky because I think you just lose the hoop.
I think this is crying out for a cut clearance, isn't it?
This is now crying out for a cut clearance. No.
No.
Because
I
Christina,
guess the problem is if you haven't got the power to get black far enough, then you really need to focus on the centre ball clearance, don't you?
that is true. And as I say, the lawns are not fast.
Okay, so it's not
So-
a bad time to run 12 with blue and black on the south boundary, I guess.
No. Need to make sure you get far enough through the hoop that you have got a shot back at 13.
Yeah.
Not like that.
Yeah. Well, blue and black need to make sure they get in front,
They do.
don't they, to take advantage of this.
How close do you reckon yellow can get?
Oh, that's very hard to say.
Looks to me like it risks not being able to get much further than halfway up the west boundary. At the east boundary.
Well, if blue gets good position here, then red's
Got to
going
clear
to
it.
have to clear it.
But how close a position do you dare take? Because being on the boundary behind 13 is better than being an inch short of 13. Which is obviously
Yeah,
what
well-
she's just thought going quite so deep.
Cheryl's gone for safety.
Making sure that she has a
Yeah.
hoop shot.
Yeah,
But at this point, red can take position.
yeah. But she might go for a closer position with black.
Yeah. And red doesn't look to me like it's in actual hoop running position. This is Christina fighting her way back from 6-3 down to 6-all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's, if it's down a good line,
Oh, I think that's a bit short to be in front of the hoop.
It's
Wanted to go the other side of the hoop and be that weight.
yeah.
Oh, and yellow was obviously further through than it looked.
Okay.
But-
Well, it's in the neighbourhood, but
It's very much in
Neither-
the situation of a plausible hoop run, rather a possible hoop run, rather than a likely hoop run, isn't it? You'd have to hit it perfectly from there. What do you think Cheryl's going to do now?
That's
Is
a
she going
very
to
good
try the
question.
hoop, or is she going to take position?
I
Looks
think
to me like
gonna
she's
take-
taking position.
I think so too.
Make Christina clearer. And it's nicer to be the one taking position first, because as often as they clear you, you can keep coming back, unless Christina manages to hold the hoop running position.
Or going off.
Or going off, yes. Which is another reason for being the far side of the hoop. Oh, and that looked like a mishit, but could be a
It was-
much worse outcome.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that was even her intended swing to hit the ball. But
It
I guess
didn't look
must
like
have
it.
been.
I
Anyway,
don't know.
it is what it is.
Yeah. I don't think blue will be hampered from running the hoop, but black looks like it has guarded blue.
So we could be approaching the end of this game.
We could.
Well, we are approaching it.
It's just a question of how close it is.
Yeah. Oh,
Ooh,
well now.
nice.
Well now. So, okay, so she's called for the referee.
Does that mean that red is causing more difficulties than it looks like from here?
Well, she's clearly, presumably playing a shot that's going to move red. Do you think?
Do you think she's too close to jump yellow?
I don't know.
Again, I don't know how keen on jumps these players are. No, she's
Oh,
clearing red.
Okay. Well, it's clean.
Yep.
That was pretty clean. Not cleared very far though.
And looks like she might have blocked black.
Oh.
Oh, going for another
No,
cuddle.
it could
Oh, are
now.
they touching?
Well, it's black
Can't
to play.
see from this far away.
Black to play needs to move yellow, presumably.
Yeah. Can
Well-
black see yellow? Can black see either yellow or the hoop?
Do blue and red point at yellow? That would be handy.
I don't think blue and yellow,
No.
blue and red do point at yellow. They look, blue and red look to me like they're pointing due south.
Well, I'm going to go and have a quick look.
I wonder if there is possibility here for getting the angle just right that blue could clear yellow. So what's the answer from your inspection, Keith?
think Paul Daniels might be able to get out of here, but I'm not sure Cheryl can.
I was wondering if there is a possibility
Well,
of
blue and red.
of causing blue to nudge yellow out of position. Do you think you got the angle for that?
Well, blue and red, if they're not touching, they're virtually touching, and they're pointing left of yellow and right of the hoop. Directly through the
Left of
gap.
yellow and right of the hoop.
Yeah, directly through the gap between yellow and the hoop.
Is yellow east
black.
of the hoop?
West, slightly west.
Well, whatever she was trying to do, I don't think that achieved it, because this
No,
looks
yellow
to
has
be
a
like
clear,
yellow running the
yellow's-
hoop
it's
and
got
winning
a
the
clear,
game.
clear sight of the hoop. So,
If she was going to have any chance of getting blue to move yellow, she needed to hit that with a lot more power.
yeah, I mean, she might have got blue to squeeze out and hamper this stroke, maybe. Well. From 3-6
Game one.
to 7-6.
Game one to Cheryl, yeah. To Christina. That's a very good comeback.
Yes,
I like to think it must be my influence, because that was when she started to come back, wasn't it?
it was. Yeah. The referees come out for a bit of
Hoop
bit of
firming.
solid hoop tapping. That was, I've seen a bit of hoop stroking between games, but that was a good solid tap.
Even though it didn't look like he moved much when he checked it.
Now well, you can't always tell.
No.
Well, I think they might be having a short break, do you think?
I don't know. Cheryl doesn't seem to be leaving the court side.
Well, I'm going to have a short break. But I will be back shortly.
Christina at least is taking a short break. The light rain looks like it's just stopped, although when it was falling just now, it was falling diagonally, so the wind looks enough to be noticeable. Meanwhile, on lawn 5, which might still be visible from the camera, Rachel G has just failed hoop 1 against Sylvia from Latvia, giving Sylvia a chance of hoop 1, which she has run nicely. Chris, do you know if this is game 1, game 2,
Good
game 3?
afternoon, Gabby. It's game 2. I didn't see who won game 1. The form would suggest that Rachel probably did.
But Sylvia
but
has
we
had
don't-
some good.
But
Sylvia's had some good wins.
scores. Yes, she has. So I was just going to, on my way to the clubhouse when I called by, to check the scores, and I will report back.
I'm very grateful, thank you.
I didn't mean to pick you up.
Are you coming to join me?
I am coming to join you. They thought, you know, two women will make life interesting. Yeah.
So how have you been getting on today?
I played first round against Pauline from Egypt. I lost 7-3, 7-3, so at least I'm consistent.
Mhm.
And I've had a bye since for the second round, so I've just been, watching everyone, watching Mum, although Mum was complaining that I wasn't bringing her food when she needed it, so,
So I should have introduced my fellow commentator. We have Ashley Cook from New Zealand. There can't be many mother and daughter competitors. We had mother and daughter in the women's AC with Sophie McGlenn and Beatrice McGlenn from England both playing.
Also, my
your grandmother.
Yeah, so Phyllis Young and Dallas Cook playing, yeah. I have also played in this women's GCE event with my grandmother, my mum and me playing.
3 generations, wow.
3 generations playing.
But your grandmother couldn't be persuaded to come over this time, could she not?
It was a bit too far to travel. If it had been a bit closer to New Zealand, maybe, but
Right.
yeah, it is quite a long way. I think it took us about 27 hours to get over here.
Did you do it in a single hop or did you break the journey?
No, we did it in a single hop. Unfortunately, with restrictions with Helen Reeve. Comment, how is Helen Reeve faring, please? She lost her first match this morning and she had a bye for her second match, so she's busy watching my mother Dallas playing on lawn 8 at the moment. So yeah.
That's a good spot. I haven't been keeping an eye on the chat. There's a question from Mark Green about how are the Codway hoops playing overall. They are much easier to run in less firm ground. The contrast between the Quadway hoops here at Southwick and the Quadway hoops at United in Christchurch is unbelievable. In the firm ground at Christchurch, they were
they're unforgiving.
I didn't feel confident of getting through unless I was a foot straight in front.
Yeah.
Whereas these, I don't think we've seen many runs from the boundary, but they're certainly plausible to run from the boundary. It's worth taking on.
They are, definitely. But yeah, I'd struggle with them anyway, so.
They're
No
still
worries.
more of a challenge than the normal club hoops.
Yes, that's true.
You've got to treat them with some respect. You've got to hit the gap because if you hit the wire, it does bounce back.
Actually, most of the clubs in New Zealand play with the quadway hoops anyway, so especially my club does, so I'm used to playing with them. I actually now struggle when I get on to any other hoop other than the
Really?
quadway because I'm so used to running quadways. Yeah.
So in what way do other hoops become harder to run after quadways? I would have thought they'd be easier because they're more forgiving.
They are more forgiving, I guess, but because I don't know, it's like because I have to swing more carefully with quadways, therefore I'm so used to doing that, whereas when I get to other hoops I'm like you know.
You mean you just don't concentrate enough?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, exactly.
you don't give them any respect at all.
Not really.
Every hoop needs some respect.
Yeah, I do give them respect because hoops tend to dislike me at times, but you know, I'm not sure if you have that problem.
I think we all do. Maybe not the gods of the game, but us lesser mortals.
Yeah.
Game would be a lot easier without hoops, wouldn't it?
Oh, without the peg.
How do you win if there aren't any hoops to run?
It'd be a different game.
I was like, in my game,
Nearly lost the umbrella.
had a magnetic peg. Every time I went anywhere near it from hoop 5, I got stuck behind it. I don't know what it was, but yes. Oh, looks like they're getting ready to start again.
Yep. That blue doesn't
I've got a
going to
rules
reach.
question. I've got a rules question.
Which Ashley will be delighted to answer.
I think I know. I'm sorry, got the answer. Blue went first because Cheryl lost
Yes.
the first game. And at the start of the second game, you can either play blue or black. Is that right?
Yes, I think so.
Would there be any reason to play black other than to try and confuse your opponent and encourage them to play the wrong ball because they're so used to playing red second?
Well, I'm told that there's a sort of, I don't know if it's a superstition or a custom or a preference that some people like to continue in sequence from the end of the first game.
Oh. Is that something you do, Ashley?
I'm lucky if I can remember which colour ran the hoop on the first game. So no.
Well,
Yeah,
yellow,
I was
yellow
going-
made the golden hoop, didn't it? And then blue started this game, so
So we don't know whether
So
it was
we
blue
don't know
started because
whether
blue
it was
normally starts or blue
correct.
starts because yellow wouldn't last.
yeah.
I nearly started with the wrong pair of balls in my second game earlier.
Well, that's careless.
That was careless. My opponent kindly pointed it out and I realised that I did have the other set of clips still on my shirt.
It's always good when someone points it out.
Well, we're supposed to under the rules, aren't we?
We are. Sometimes you don't notice until after a couple of shots.
And I do find it very frustrating when you have played what would have been the right ball had they played the right ball, not noticing that they played the wrong ball, and it's then you that gets penalised.
Yes, that can be frustrating. You can also feel extremely apologetic when they do such a good shot and then you've realised that it's technically the wrong ball because you played the wrong ball earlier. Yeah, you're just, yeah.
Now, what would you be doing here? Would you be clearing red? I'm not sure I would have done. But then
Truthfully,
the comment about me has been odd tactics, so anything that I do is probably wrong.
for me, no, I probably wouldn't have, because blue's there. I probably would have put black, probably trying to block red, but also it would have made maybe yellow try and hit black, which means she wouldn't be now in front.
Just in front of the hoop.
Yeah,
In a good position to run all the way down to 2 if she's left there.
yeah, exactly.
With the risk of peeling yellow if blue hits yellow dead centre.
Yes, well, I managed to do that on my game, so
Almost like that.
Yeah.
Almost like that, but not quite.
almost, yeah.
But she's still left yellow much closer to the hoop than her own blue.
And her
So-
black.
So I think she lost a bit of an opportunity to have more control over this hoop.
Sometimes it's better to let them hit your ball and still have control of the hoop than it is to try and hit their ball and lose control.
Yeah.
But it's hard to learn when that's correct and when that's not.
So this time she's taken the different course of taking position on the far side of the hoop. Looks like she's blocked black from the hoop.
Yeah, I'm not convinced.
You think it might be short, do you?
I'm wondering whether she was trying to block blue from red.
Ah.
Maybe.
Now that would make more sense.
Yeah.
While still threatening the hoop by being in
Hoop.
running position.
Yeah.
But if she was trying to block blue from red, she failed.
Yeah.
So what would you do here as black? Would you try and run the hoop? It looks like there's a potential for a clearance on red that holds position, but that depends on whether yellow can see the hoop or not. This looks like a hoop run attempt to me.
I think personally...
No, she's changing her mind. She's going for the clearance on red. Personally,
it depends on your opposition who you're playing, and depends on whether you know they're going to hit you or whether you know they're going to go for the hoop with yellow, sort of thing.
now we get to find out whether black can see the hoop.
When she runs it.
Yeah.
Do you think black's running the hoop?
Can't work out whether black's running the hoop or clearing yellow.
Clearing yellow for blue to run. Oh no.
No.
Black
Running the hoop?
Trying to run it.
Well, not running the hoop as it turned out.
Right.
But she's got the second prize of
Being annoying.
Blocking red.
Yeah, she's in quite an annoying position if you're red and yellow.
Yeah. Although...
Well, yellow's gone, as we look at it, from left to right and now from right to left.
Yeah.
Is this a different instance of windscreen wiping?
This could be a jump.
This is
Yeah.
definitely looking like a jump.
Looking like a jump.
Is she having to jump her own ball?
No, I think it's yellow. Oh, good shot.
Good shot.
Excellent.
That's
Yes,
a
again, the
lovely
crowd
jump shot.
erupts at that one.
It's sounding a bit like your temptation to refer to the spectator in the singular is apt.
Well, we have a listener.
We do have a listener?
I think so. We did earlier.
Now I have a question for you, Keith. Red hit yellow down to get yellow out of a really bad spot. Would you have done that, or would you have rather had got red in a really good position?
Yeah, good question.
Yellow couldn't get anywhere near here, could it?
No.
Red can at least run down from where it is now.
Yes, but she's pretty lucky she's in the middle of that hoop.
It could have gone badly wrong.
It could have
couldn't
gone badly wrong.
I think generally, if in doubt, promotions are going to be a bad idea.
That's certainly what I've read somewhere.
But she's played a lovely shot with red.
Oh, that's my kind of shot. Blocking my own ball.
I don't think she is blocking her own ball. I think they're off to the side. Mind you, I'm not convinced they're both going to be staying there.
Yeah, I'm not convinced either.
Oh,
that's
always disappointing when that happens.
That was so unlucky.
The sort of shot you couldn't pull off a peel like that if you tried to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you tried to do it, it would have bounced out. It would have gone anywhere and everywhere.
If you tried to do it, yellow probably doesn't even hit the hoop, let alone go through it.
Yeah. Yep, that's about right.
So not only do you lose the hoop, but yellow gets the first play over to hoop 3.
Yeah. It's always hard to get out of the mental space once you've done that of I hit a ball and I've just put it through that hoop.
Yes.
It takes a lot to get out of that mental space.
I notice it's one of the things the best players are really good about, wiping the bad shots away from their memory.
Yeah.
Well, some are.
Some are, yeah.
Are there really good players who aren't? Do you get
Well,
to be a
probably
really good
not.
player if you can't do that?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I can't think of a really good player who broods.
Yeah, I can think of some players who are quite good and certainly moan about bad luck
Yeah,
for a while after the game.
Yeah,
quite
but
good is very different from very good.
That's after the game. It's not during the game
True.
so much.
But it shows that they've still remembered it.
Yeah.
It
But-
still hurts.
You can remember it, but you can move past it mentally.
Yeah.
It's two different things. After all, the amount of gripes I hear from my mother when I do a lucky shot at the dinner table after a game, so, you know.
I'm surprised by that. I
Interesting.
thought she was
she-
in good position to run the hoop.
I thought she was in good position to run the hoop. Or in fact, I thought she was trying to run the hoop.
I thought she was trying to run the hoop. And I often think the best time to run the hoop is immediately before the cat and mouse has started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dominate it immediately. Otherwise, once you get into the clearing pattern, they're first back to the hoop.
Yeah, who's got the advantage
You're having
now?
to clear. I think the advantage is with black and blue here,
Okay.
don't you?
It depends on whether yellow can see blue. It's hard to tell from sitting over here.
But yellow can still only clear blue to a short boundary.
Yes, but
Can't clear it far.
if you
Could
can do a
clear it.
decent jump stop shot
Yeah.
and you don't move far,
Yep.
also because you know you're only going to the boundary, you don't have to hit hard either.
Yeah.
But
Well, that succeeded in getting black out of the way, but was not the sort of shot you wanted, because black is still closer to the hoop than
yeah,
red is, so I still think
blue and
I'd
black,
rather be blue and black in this situation
Yeah.
than red and yellow.
blue and black right now,
Definitely.
yes, definitely.
And you can just quietly keep putting the balls back.
Yeah, with clearance red on black. Looks a lot harder now, doesn't it?
It does. And it's all very well playing a great stop shot.
Oh,
Oh,
she couldn't see
so she
blue
couldn't
then.
see blue.
She couldn't see blue.
Might have hampered Blue's hoop shot, maybe.
Or might have made
No,
it.
no.
Hampered her stance from the looks of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from that close, I don't think it's going to matter.
Oh, it's amazing how much it can.
But
And
it
it
didn't.
Didn't, no.
Going back to the quite good players
Oh yeah.
who still brood on the good luck that their opponent had. I'm thinking of someone who was telling me yesterday about the series of ill luck that they had in a
I'd
game
still brood on that. And that
5
was
or 6
about
years ago. Was
10
it?
years ago.
10 years ago, was it?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever get over it?
Well, I haven't played GC since.
That suggests the answer is no.
No, I could go over it.
Oh, very close to getting in the jaws, but as a result, I think both have overshot and neither are in hoop running position.
I don't think she's over. Well, it's definitely not in a hoop running position. I'd say it's out to the side, which
Yeah.
sometimes can be very useful.
Yes. stops Cheryl taking close position.
Wide from red.
That's
Yeah.
true. But this is one of the few times when maybe doing a promotional shot is actually worth it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. And it doesn't look like Christina has either.
No.
Blocker.
Isn't that blocking blue rather than black?
Well, that's quite a good outcome, though, isn't it? I mean, do you think? I think black was planning to shift yellow to wide from blue.
To me, actually, I'd be going for that hoop because that yellow ball is right there,
No.
I would have gone for the hoop.
and it would have been a nice guidance to running that hoop.
Okay.
But that works just as well, what she's done.
I'm not convinced that's blocking blue from the hoop.
No, I don't think she's convinced either. Is this a must go for?
I think this is a must go for hoop.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think so. She's got both her balls there,
But
black's on the boundary.
I think she's clearing yellow.
To me personally, I will go for that hoop
Yep,
Yeah,
she's clearing
clearing
yellow.
yellow.
because I'm probably 70 to 80% confident I could have hit that yellow ball from that boundary. So, to me, would have made sense for me to go for that hoop and give it a go.
Yeah. It's often too tempting not to take the hoop chances when you have them. But I'll be surprised if she gets a better shot at the hoop now than that shot she's just turned down.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
You never know. You never know what can
We'll
happen.
see. Ooh,
Oh.
that's not
That's not nice.
advantage red and yellow.
I think advantage red and yellow.
Yeah. Mind you, it does depend on what yellow does.
Well, red and yellow has now got two balls in front of the hoop. And I think black and blue have none.
That's true.
This should be in a position to block both of them.
You would have to. Because you would have to guarantee that black could hit yellow, and you can't from
Yeah.
looking at where it is. I'll be back.
Okay. And that was not a good outcome. I think she was trying to clear blue. It looks to me like
Blue
she's
looks-
left blue still in position.
Yeah.
I wondered if she might have gone for the jump there.
What's black? Ah. Did black go round the sun?
Black went round the side,
Okay.
but black still isn't in hoop running position.
Right.
So Christina gets another go at dislodging blue. It again doesn't look like she's taken on the jump.
Well, she didn't move
And-
blue.
I'm not sure what the goal of that shot was. I wonder if she was trying to hit blue on the right hand side to cut it
Okay.
out from the hoop.
Okay, well, we'll never know.
We will never know.
3-1.
And an awkward hampered shot for red, getting over to 5.
So, did anyone have any ideas for your peg discussion on how to improve the peg system for... Was it you or was it Stu who was...
Somebody said that their club uses magnetic hoop markers.
Oh, yeah.
That was as far as we got.
Oh, that was the comment on the
Yes.
on the chat, wasn't it?
Yeah. I definitely think there's a gap in the market.
So was the problem pegs, clips bouncing
They
off?
break and
Yeah, we've had a lot of
need
broken clips
replacing,
already.
Yeah.
They're not all sort of intuitive colours
No.
for the balls that are being played, so you could potentially have a clear colour from each side, couldn't you?
Yeah. I found it particularly confusing yesterday watching blue and black play with orange clips
Yeah,
and red and yellow play with green clips.
yeah. I know the start, I think.
Same game, was it?
I think I talked to the people afterwards and they said, well, pegs didn't match the colours of the balls, so they just went with whatever one they fancied.
But orange is so much closer to red and green is so much closer to blue.
True. But hey, if it doesn't worry you playing, then...
Think of the spectators. Who's this event really for?
Well, at the moment, us players, because not many spectators want to be out in this weather, and I don't blame them.
Oh, nice hoop.
Nice hoop,
Beautiful
3-2.
hoop. It's like I left New Zealand winter to come to England summer. I didn't realise England summer was pretty much New Zealand winter.
Have you not been to England before?
No, this is my first time
Oh,
to
really?
England.
Ah, well.
And this is the weather I get.
This is a classic British summer.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing from everyone.
And you thought it was a joke?
Well, I sort of took it seriously, but I was sort of optimistic that it would be nice sunshine, like 20, 22 degrees each day.
It was quite nice yesterday.
That's
Well,
true, it
If
was.
there's any consolation, last year we had a few days at 40.
Yeah, I'm very glad I'm not in that.
Ooh. That's got a nice hamper on blue.
Oh, black.
I think she
nearly,
nudged it, but
yeah.
hasn't cleared the backswing for blue. The British rely on the weather being very changeable and very unpredictable, otherwise we'd have nothing to talk about.
Yes.
Fair enough. Mind you, New Zealand's a bit like that. Some days you get all 4 seasons in one day.
Have you played at Canley,
That's Australia.
Melbourne?
Melbourne, yes, I have.
That I've been told is the worst for getting all 4 seasons in one day. Oh, they're obviously touching.
See, I don't remember that being the weather being too bad, except for I do remember they had an electric storm, so everyone had to get off the lawns because of health and safety concerns. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
I've played there when it hailed.
In summer.
Yeah.
Nice.
I remember Dave saying that he played there.
That was the day.
Oh, was it? The day when it was Australian summer daytime. And it was still colder
it
than
was
English winter in the night time.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So it's got the advantage there, though. If anybody.
I'd rather be red and yellow right now. That looks like a plausible jaws, but not an easy jaws for black. I think I would probably turn it down as well. What would you do?
I would have probably done that.
Yeah, I think I would have done that.
Because in the last ditch desperate attempt, blue probably can see that hoop. So I would probably bank on blue either running that hoop or hitting that red ball.
Yeah.
Depending on where yellow went, of course.
Yellow hasn't blocked anything. So are you going for the hoop or are you clearing red here, Ashley?
Depending on if it's a double, I just aim in the middle and see what happens.
If I'm doing that, I go for the hoop on the basis that if I go for the hoop and I'm slightly out, I might well still clear red.
Fair enough.
Whereas if I go for the middle, I'm very unlikely to run the hoop.
Fair enough. I do have days where I tend to miss constantly on one side. So what I do is I aim for whatever's on. So if I constantly miss on the right, I aim for whatever's on the left. Thinking that if I miss that, it's going to run the hoop, you know.
I did a bit of that this morning, actually,
Yeah.
and it did work quite nicely for me.
It really does. I had a beautiful croquet this morning where I had a double of a hoop and a ball, and I aimed for the middle, and I hit the ball dead centre. I was very happy.
Yeah. Close.
Nearly bounced
I think it
back
was the
into
right
the
shot
box.
going for the hoop, though.
I think so. She had two balls in front.
Yeah.
Plus blue on side at 7.
Exactly.
Yeah. I would have been going for that hoop too.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, it forces blue to come back. Obviously blue might take out red, which is a risk.
Oh, yes, I hadn't thought of that.
Nicked it.
Blue hasn't
and,
taken out red.
No.
And is now down there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's worked out well. Don't you think?
You're thinking promotion here, are
I'm
you?
thinking, yes.
Well, in other games, Rachel's doing pretty well behind us. Second game, and she's now up 5-1. I'm hoping my mother will do better. She's on her third game, and she looks like she's down 3-1. But you can't rule my mum out either.
Looks like the ball boy is returning to his duties.
Yes. Right. Elena, no. That's not Elena.
Oh no, that's slightly unfortunate. While you've been looking the other way, blue has just stymied black's nice shot at the hoop.
Just enough.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. This is sometimes when being an AC player does come in handy with touching balls.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that croquet stroke though.
No.
It also makes it very frustrating as an AC player because you look at the touching balls and you want to rearrange them to where you want them to be.
Yes. I can. Yep, I've been there, done that before, yep.
Anything could happen. Yeah.
With 3 balls because they place together. Yeah.
You might get all 4
I think-
balls moved in this stroke.
Is this one of the times where you take the risk and try and hit both black and blue, or is this one of the times
I
where
think
you...
I'll be wanted to just move blue.
Yeah.
I would be focusing on blue. Oh,
Yeah,
you called it,
I
Licky.
did call that, yeah. That was a danger, wasn't it, from Red's point of view?
It was. But at least red plays before black.
Yeah.
But
Not
is Red going to
necessarily
stay there?
from there.
Yeah, but there's an awful lot of potential for red hitting the hoop and staying nearby on this shot.
There's some potential.
Okay, I take it back. That was a nice shot.
That
Yeah,
was a
crowd
very
goes
lovely
wild
shot.
again.
Now, if I had been doing that shot, most of the time I will end up hitting my own ball at the same time.
It's one of the hardest shots to play psychologically, I think,
Yeah.
when you know that your own ball is there and you're thinking, I mustn't hit black. And all your brain is thinking, hit black, hit black, hit black.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
that was
close.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes when you're at that 13th hoop, whatever pops into your head first, run the hoop or hit the ball, do that. Because if you try and do the opposite,
Your
it
brain
not
will still
work.
be thinking of it.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like she's
A
hitting it hard
nuisance,
enough.
aren't they, brains? Yeah, hard enough.
Could have hit that from that close. You could have hit that quite a lot harder and got it much closer
Well,
to.
if she
eight,
had less
yeah.
wire, it would have gone further, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So, is it
So-
four?
It's pulling up.
Three?
Cheryl 4-3.
Cool. My mum might be in trouble here.
Who's your mum playing? She's putting a clip on a hoop. That's always
Yeah.
positive.
But she is currently 5-2 down.
That's less positive.
Yeah.
Who's she playing?
I can't remember her name, sorry.
What do you think here, then?
I think I'm wishing I'd hit yellow harder when I was taking position. I think this looks like a hoop run, and I'm not sure that's a bad choice. So she didn't get the hoop run, but that's not a bad second prize, is it?
No, I suspect black is blocked.
Yes.
I was like,
However, blue plays first,
Blue plays first,
but
any-
blue needs to clear red.
Well,
doesn't
any
it?
clearance on red looks like it's going to hit black, but pretty close to it.
it looks like she worked out the
Right.
angle.
Okay, she had enough room to cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But black's going to need to jump.
Yeah. I think red will just play in.
I think red will just play in.
You know, I think it depends. Depends on how far out yellow is from that hoop leg. Because if yellow's right on that hoop leg, yellow can't run that hoop.
Yellow looks to me like it's a good 6 inches away from the hoop.
Yep, no, she's jumping.
So did she just put the clip on her back pocket?
She put it on the back due to the fact she's going to jump that ball, and so it doesn't get in her way.
But is that not where she keeps the rest of her clips?
Yeah.
I always think that risks forgetting to put it back on again afterwards, and then you...
No, I tend to do that. I will put them with my normal, with my other clips.
Yeah, so she's not putting it back on.
She's probably waiting to see. Ooh, yellow.
What was that shot about?
Not sure.
No, I should put it back now.
See, that's why I may have not have jumped with the black there. I
It
may
doesn't
have
look
just
like yellow could just run the hoop.
yeah. I may have just put it in a nice position that when I hit red,
With blue.
with blue, that I wouldn't get my black ball in the way.
And there were lots of places you could put black where yellow would have no shot at it.
That too. Ooh,
However, your scheme falls down a bit if you miss red.
that's true. But then, if you do miss red, you still got black there to put pressure on.
Yeah. However, I think you're going to be needing black near 3 back, near 9, because I think red is just running this, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It has, but it's amazing how many people you can actually trip up by having a ball right beside the one trying to run the hoop.
Talk me through that.
So, I have played people that if they have an opponent's ball right beside their ball, they will 9 times out of 10 go for the opponent's ball rather than run that hoop, due to the mental factor of they get worried of, oh, if I'm going to miss that hoop,
Then they can run it.
Then they can run it.
But you've got to take hoop shots when you've got them.
You do, but it's amazing how sometimes mentally it can just get in there.
I thought I was told that was particularly a disease of AC players converting to GC. Not to take hoop shots.
Sometimes yes. Sometimes yes, I do notice AC players when they're playing GC will tend to not take the more riskier hoops that GC players definitely would. Other times it's just the style of the person they play. Like playing my granddad, sometimes if you have your ball anywhere near his at the hoop, he will hit you away rather than go and run that hoop. Other times he runs the hoop, but you know. For me, it depends on whether I'm having a case of hoopitis at the time.
Why do we have a plastic keyboard?
Probably as protector. It probably fell off.
Guarding against the rain, is it?
Possibly.
Yes. I definitely need it now. It's starting to decide it wants to rain again.
Another light drizzle.
You nice and warm, Keith?
Loving it.
So
You enjoying the English weather then?
love it, especially since I've got a bit of a head cold as well.
Oh no.
The joys of travelling on a plane and then deciding to go for a nice long walk to kill time on the first day here and getting wet.
Was that Saturday?
Tuesday. So Mum and I flew in Tuesday. We got in at 6:30 in the morning, Tuesday morning. We went to the hotel, dropped off our bags, and then went for a walk to the Hampton Court Palace. And we did the tour inside and outside there, and while we were outside we got a little bit wet. Had to buy another umbrella due to the fact that Mum's little one, even with our raincoats on, wasn't coping with the nice big downpour that happened. and then of course had to walk back to the hotel again.
Well now.
Now, does this look like she's rush peeling yellow? That's not a good idea, is it?
Surely you
This is one of the times where
don't you waste black to the far distance.
Make black come back.
this is one
Is
of
there
the
any
times
way you can get off black anywhere closer
Well,
to
you could,
10?
if you do half ball on black, you'll.
You can get halfway down the down the east boundary.
uh, okay, well,
See, I probably would have been tempted by yellow due to the simple fact is, especially if I'm playing someone like my mum, I wouldn't be able to get her far enough away for her not to hit my ball out.
well, that's the danger, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you don't get rid of black far enough.
But that's the other reason for hitting it half ball, that you have, if you get a good angle on black, there's less of the ball to see because you're coming across the line.
True. And if you had played that shot well also, you probably could have got red down by this next hoop as
Exactly.
well.
Yeah.
So there is that to consider as well.
Now, black's played in quite nicely, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. But as I said, if I was playing someone like my mother, I probably would have hit my ball through because
You just want the point.
that, and I couldn't trust I could get her far enough away from me to not get me out.
Where's that come?
Oh, that's the second
bad.
time she's done that.
That's bad.
That's normally something
it?
I do.
That's not a good outcome.
That's
No.
not a good outcome.
Not at all.
One of the golden rules, make sure that you don't get in the way of a good first ball.
You've been reading Ian Burridge's excellent book on.
I have been reading
Golf
Ian
croquet.
Burridge's excellent book on golf croquet. I just skimmed through all the golden rules again the night before this tournament started. Have you bought a copy of this excellent book?
No, but I
It's
think
available in the shop.
nice. I think is that the one that's come out and it's like A5 size.
Yes.
I think my mum might have ordered a copy,
Uh-huh.
so I can easily borrow hers whenever I want.
So what do you do in this pickle?
That is a very good question.
Not get yourself into it in the first place. That sounds like quite an Irish answer, doesn't it?
Considering I normally typically get myself into something like this,
You should have lots of experience in knowing
Yeah.
what to do.
Can you at least play black to the side and block yellow if yellow's got a hoop shot?
Looks like you can.
yeah, that's probably your best bet on something like that.
But is red blocked as well? What's she doing?
No,
here? Is she
red's
trying
not
to clear
blocked.
blue
She
here?
looks like she's trying to clear blue.
But depending on where blue is, it might.
Oh, she
yes.
does. Okay. Without moving red.
Yeah.
Which presumably means that red is not blocked by black,
I don't
otherwise you would
think
have
it
wanted
is.
to move it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is quite cold, isn't it?
It is a bit. But mind you, it is nearly 7 o'clock at night, so. And we haven't really had the sun today to warm everything up, so.
Including ourselves.
Yeah. Now, do you think they're
This
going to
is
be
a
playing
blocker. This
as
is a blocker.
late tonight as what we did last
I
night?
expect so. Whatever that was.
I think there was a game still going on at 9:45 last night,
Yeah, so I think I finished about 8:30. Helen,
which is officially dusk, isn't it?
yeah,
How much could you see?
we were still fine for that game, but if we had to go to a third game, there's no way we would have been able to play it because it was just getting a bit too dark and a bit too hard to actually see A, the hoops, and B, the balls.
There's a match about to start on lawn 4.
Yeah, it looks like it.
We're just having a warm up.
Yeah.
That's so hard, and not sure who the other one is.
Diana Wilson there.
Oh yeah. But yeah, anyway, last night Helen Reeves and her opponent finished at 9:15, and when we left there was still a game playing on lawn 9, I believe, and I think they were just about to peg it down
Right.
for the day because it was getting very hard to see.
And are they being pegged down to finish on Thursday?
I'm not entirely sure what's happening with those. But I would say if they had to, Thursday's probably the day to do it.
Okay, this looks like a hoop shot.
Yeah.
Looks like a 6-4 coming up potentially. Is that right?
Yes, you're correct. 6-4.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, it looks like my mother has finished.
Or been finished, judging by the direction of the thumbs.
Yep. Judging by the direction, not so good.
And Black really wanted to get position there. We're going for quite tight
How
position.
did you go, Mum?
And I wonder if slightly further back and making sure you had a hoop
Yeah.
shot would have been better.
Yeah.
Yes, I am coming.
Force of clearance.
Right, guys, I am going to love you and leave you. We are heading home.
Alright.
At a respectable hour tonight.
Yes. Yeah,
Jolly good.
I was just asking whether they're going to be playing to the same time as what we were last night.
It's too dark, quite frankly. It is.
Particularly when it's this overcast, it does get darker earlier.
Yeah. I was thinking, I didn't want to play another game now Beer's just gone on the corn. So yeah, they'll probably get one game of the match, I'd say. Unless the sun comes out.
Yeah.
That's the voice of the optimist.
I told it to be sunny.
Right.
Can Black get in the jaws?
Yeah, well that would be quite handy, wouldn't it? I suspect. Yes. What are the options here then? Clear blue so that it can't clear red. Or block. You don't want to block.
Or I was going to wonder about hitting blue quarter ball to get down to 12
Oh,
on the basis either Black gets the hoop but at least you're onside, or Black doesn't want to get the hoop because you're down near 12, or best of all possible worlds, Red pulls off the jump.
yeah. Well, that would finish the game. And match.
Red jumping the hoop.
Mm.
Yes. In which case it doesn't matter where yellow is, I know, but it gives you more options.
So, save the clip.
Here we go.
This for the match.
Is Christina the favourite to win this match or the
I'm not
underdog?
sure. I would have said generally Cheryl's hit the ball.
Oh, and I think that might even be a fault. That looked like a bit of turf came up.
Oh.
This looks like you need a divot repairer to me.
It's all happening.
Yep, that is a bit of turf being replaced. Divot repairer out. That's a well-prepared player. I don't carry a divot repairer, do you?
I don't.
I tend to hope I won't need it.
I carry a pitch motor repairer when I'm playing golf. But,
Right.
So, the opportunity to take control at 12.
Yes.
You would assume.
Yeah. Now, wouldn't you like my idea of having it ricocheted off blue to get yellow down there
too
now?
hard.
That is too hard.
No.
I think that's...
It's controlling the zone.
It's
but
controlling the
not
zone.
really threatening to win the hoop.
Does
Well,
mean that yellow can't afford to take close position. I thought.
Nearly
Oh!
ran the hoop.
That must have been trying to run the hoop, otherwise it was hit to go past the hoop.
Yeah, maybe.
Unless it was just overhit, which would be a possibility. Or it would if I was playing, anyway. Oh, that must have been a hoop attempt,
Well.
and not a bad one from that distance.
Pretty good.
But blue is in definite hoop running position, and I doubt yellow is going to be there to clear it for very long. Now, if you're 6-5 up, do you clear blue?
Or just
do you
come back in,
come back in?
I think.
Yep, she's coming back in.
And she might have blocked
might
it.
have got the block. Whereas presumably if you're 6-5 down, you do clear blue. What do you think? Or are we the blind leading the blind
No,
here?
well, we are slightly, but depends which. Well, I guess it depends which shot you think gives you the best percentage of stopping blue scoring the hoop.
Yeah. If you can get the block, that's nicest. Now black surely needs to take position here.
Black takes position
So that
wide
blue,
from yellow.
yeah.
Yellow does. I'm not quite sure what. And then blue. Where's that going from?
No. Yellow needs to clear blue, doesn't it?
Almost certainly.
Unless black can't run.
I'm going to say black can run.
I think black can run.
And it'd be pretty criminal
And
to have put like there.
I think this
And
is
it's not runnable.
No, it's not a clearance on blue.
No, it's coming in again. Well,
She has still got hoop 13 in hand.
yes, there is that.
Or maybe she is confident of clearing black with red from the east boundary.
If it needs clearing.
If it is clearing, which we don't know, but we think it does.
No, that's a good shot. Oh, this is an interesting one, isn't it? I think. If you miss this clearance, you're over on the west boundary.
Yes. Now we have some tactical insights from Damon. Needed to leave the ricochet clearance advancing to 13 open. I'm not sure I quite follow that. Which ball ricocheting off which ball?
Oh, good question. And for which
Damon.
side?
Damon, can you pop in the chat which ball you were thinking would ricochet off which ball? And in answer to Alex's question, I don't think it is raining right now, it's drizzling on and off. It's certainly quite cold. Ooh.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, what do you do here? A successful jump wins the game.
Yeah.
An unsuccessful jump puts black through and gives black first chance to 13. And possibly leaves yellow in a horrible position.
Well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, so Damon's explained black would be wider, allowing a glancing clearance when Cheryl cleared, which would have meant blue advanced towards 13, leaving black a hoop shot.
Get him on commentary. That's what
Yeah. Damon, can you fly over? Good advice from Alex. Never jump when 6-5 up. Glad to hear it. I didn't when I was in a similar position yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, because I was looking at the chat, I missed what happened. How did black get out of the hoop?
Red just nudged it out quite easily.
Where was red?
In a position where it could nudge black. It's just to the west.
Right.
I mean, yeah, a couple of feet.
Right.
Interesting.
I think that was trying to protect blue from red and overshot.
I think that was trying to stop red advancing to 13. Once blue runs the hoop. Perhaps. I don't know. It's just a thought. That was trying to clear blue.
Even I managed to work that one out. Jenny has added that you can jump when 6-5 up if you can guarantee to get high enough not to peel oppo. I don't think I need to remember that rule just yet.
Oh. Okay.
Does that mean that black can run the hoop?
No, I don't surely not.
Black doesn't.
I don't
Black
think.
looks like it's the other side of the hoop.
No, I
So
think
what was that shot about?
No, I don't know. I thought blue was in front.
Yeah.
Now black's in front.
And blocking red.
Blocking red. But blue can't clear red. Can it?
Doesn't look to me like blue can clear red. Explain that one to me, Keith.
I'm not even sure what that was. I can't see blue now. Is it gone in the hoop?
I don't know. Ah.
is
Black had
come
gone
out.
just through the hoop.
Yeah, right. It's an interesting clearance on that.
So, it doesn't look like
Well.
Christina is applying the rule of never jump when you're 6'5" up. Oh no, she is.
She is. She peeled it. That'd be interesting.
I think she's only half peeled it. And can Cheryl get a mallet to get it the rest of the way through?
I'm sure it's a good idea though. I
With
think
red
that
on
was-
side.
I think that was a deliberate peel attempt, given where red is. But a gentle one, so you leave blue.
Without a shot up to 13.
Yeah, that would have been quite good.
That would have been quite good. This is quite good as well though.
It is, but I think if blue's not through, blue will be coming back, won't it?
Oh, and clearing
Well, but
um,
you can only hit
yellow.
it so hard, can't you, without risking a double tap.
I can't see how far apart they are.
Not very.
Yeah, I think there's much better commentary going on the chat than
Well,
you and I have provided.
what have they come up with?
Right. So blue was runnable, so we don't understand why blue didn't run.
No, we didn't understand that either.
Yeah, I think I agree with the comment that this is baffling. This game is very odd.
Well, red
But
is
this-
certainly nowhere near
13 now.
So might we see black go for the hoop this time? No. Protecting blue. Okay.
Protecting blue and
Or-
also
or
trying to get up to
clear-
13
or
at the same
trying-
time.
Trying to clear yellow and get up to 13. Yeah, could be. Oh,
That
wow.
looks like quite a nice shot.
Yeah. Interesting. This needs to be either a hoop run or a clearance, doesn't it? I
It
think.
does. And it is neither.
Found the gap.
So this looks like it's got all the potential for a third game starting twilight.
Yeah, so I have to confess I was hoping for a 2-0 result.
One way or the other, yes.
Which we may still get. But with black there, you would think. Well, red comes in and can clear black. That's it.
Black doesn't look like it's in a runnable position.
What's-
No.
Right. What's happening here?
Cuddle?
This is clearing red, isn't it?
Why?
And going to the north boundary. Okay.
Not
convinced
sure
by
that was... No. I'm not sure that was the intended outcome of the shot though.
Well,
But-
no, I suspect red was meant to come considerably further
Yep.
west.
Is that getting far enough? I don't think it is. No.
And what can blue do? Well, based on...
I think blue is probably far enough through to be able to
based
come
on
up.
what happened in game 1.
Yeah.
At least we've got the chat livened up.
Oh. Damon wants someone to get Keith another beer. I don't know if anyone's listening. No, blue's not wired from 13, and that looks like a good shot.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is take position.
Take position.
Don't block yellow at blue, but take position.
But take position blocking black from the hoop.
Yeah. I think that's
I
okay.
I think that's blocked
No, that looks okay.
yellow from blue. I'm presuming blue can't see the hoop.
And if it could. He's thinking black clears yellow.
Don't know really. And it's raining again.
That was a
hoop
attempted
front, I
clearance
think.
of red.
Was it?
Well,
I
the
thought
closest
it-
thing it got to was red, I think.
I thought it got quite close to the hoop.
Okay. This is
This is a
clearing
tone
yellow.
blue.
I'm sticking my neck out here. This is clearing blue.
Yeah.
Oh,
No?
You see? Why do
Well,
I do, why do
we
I
don't
do
know
it?
this. Why are we commentating, Keith? Why isn't there
Well,
anybody
this
better than
happens
us?
when I do AC gaps. It doesn't matter. As soon as I say what they're going to do, they do something else. Right, okay, well, I have to say
I think yellow
looks,
and red look in a commanding position for this
yeah,
hoop.
I
We-
agree.
We might see the 2-0 yet, which I'm sure would make the manager happy.
Not just the manager.
Oh, and that's short. I think the difference between you commentating on AC and GC is that when you predict what certainly I was going to do in AC, what you were predicting was what I should have done, not necessarily what I was doing, which I'm not sure is always the case with GC, is it?
No, that's probably fair. So, blue and black, we've got a problem here.
They've got less of a problem if yellow can't see the hoop.
Well,
I think yellow can at least get in the jaws, though.
I think yellow can run that. Nice, smooth, missing the near wire stroke. I think that will
I
run.
just can't quite see how far it is and what angle. As we were discussing yesterday, I find it very difficult to judge distances.
I wasn't going to mention that, but
It was in your mind.
yeah. Okay, so that's that
Yes.
could be absolute genius.
That
It
is a great shot. Don't think yellow can run the hoop now.
If they're touching, still got a chance, but
That is a good croquet stroke if they're touching. How often are you running
they
the
are touching.
How often are you running the hoop if it's touching from there?
Don't normally have to try. Well,
Alex is Ray dominant. So Bab FTW.
sorry.
Bab dominant, so Ray FTW. What does that stand for? Is it polite?
I don't know.
You always worry it's not when F's are involved.
So is yellow deemed or something here? Do you think?
Ah, it stands for the win.
Okay. Yeah, I think yellow's. I didn't see yellow actually play a stroke, but might have missed it. Well, it's fair to say the crowd has thinned a little from the.
Oh, and I've just noticed two members of the crowd who I think want to thin it even further. The two people who are staying with me both look like they have now finished and are looking cold and wanting to go home. So I think I will definitely bow out at the end of this game, come what may.
Yeah, well, you won't be the only one. This is very interesting.
Fascinating. I don't want to bow out just yet though.
No.
I want to see what happens with this hoop.
Let's see what's happening with black and yellow. What is the plan? This needs to work. That's the would suggest. I think it might have done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's red taking position and at the same time blocking blue. I'm guessing.
Yeah. And I guess that yellow is able to do something with blue. And this shot looks like they are touching because this looks like a croquet stroke.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yellow clears blue to lawn 3 and
It's quite a long way to get a good firm clearance. on
it
blue.
is,
But if you succeed, you're
Is-
laughing.
yes.
Alison is coming along mighty amused at something.
Hello.
Hello, what are you laughing
I've
about?
come to relieve you of your commentary duties.
Excellent.
I thought that you two might like to
Go
go
home and
and
get
find
warm.
some warm and chat
Splendid.
to some people over there.
Excellent.
I brought Andrew with me, so this is Alison Warm and Andrew Hobbs, and we're going to see the rest of this game out and let Gavs and Keith go and get warm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your commentary.
You're welcome.
Could have told me, I would have brought my wine.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I don't know how long we'll be here. I mean, it's, you know, this is the last heat, the last game on lawn 1. So, hoop 13.
Sudden
Everybody's
death.
played in. Sudden death. Blue is somewhere down by hoop 1. Red has played,
Into
In.
position about 2 feet out.
I think so.
From here, I'm not sure whether black can see the hoop or not.
I think black's got to run. Don't we think?
I personally would be going for it. Considering blue is
Where blue is, you
have to go for this and hope that you run it.
So this is going to be a
red
good
and
one
yellow
if
have
she
got
gets
two good hoop opportunities there. So even if you clear red, yellow's got a chance.
it. Yeah.
I'd be going for the hoop.
Oh, a bit of distraction.
Yeah.
There's someone talking
On the phone.
nearby.
Yeah.
Talking to other players just coming off, I think. So it's just a bit of distraction. She's done the right thing.
Yep.
When you get distracted, you stop.
Step away,
Step away,
restalk,
wait.
refocus.
Only game 2, Alison.
No. This is game 3. Oh, he's missed it.
She has missed it. It is game 2. Sorry, guys.
No, I'm sure this is game 3. Maybe I'm wrong.
No.
Oh.
Game 2 could be a late night again for me. Lucky me.
We both got that wrong then.
Thanks, Stu. Yep, Joshua was telling me it's game 2 as well. Yep,
Okay, we stand corrected.
yeah, we
Well,
do.
Blue's got a long shot across the lawn from just past hoop 1. Got to try and clear red here.
Here we go. She got it? She's looking. Ooh!
Must have been close. Unfortunately, nicked the wrong ball on the way through.
Well, this is winning the game and
In the match.
according to my records, the match.
And I think game 1 went to sudden death as well.
Yeah,
Well played.
that's 3.
Yeah.
Very good. Looks like it's all over. All over for us. Right, Andrew, thank you very much for coming over and joining me and for all your commentary efforts
Not a problem.
throughout the last couple of days. We're going to say goodbye for now and we're going to be back tomorrow morning. Please stay with us. We'll be back on lawn 1. We may try to have a peek over at lawn 2 if we get adventurous and we can move our camera if it's not so windy. But we are trying our best to bring you some great croquet. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye for today.
Bye.